love you, black man.
I 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 love you, black man.
Black man, I love you.
You're a black man, I love you.
I love you. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, put a one in the chat if you can hear me in the back and hear me in the chat. What's going on tonight? It is Flipping Tables, baby. First episode, Talking That Talk Tuesday. We talked all the talk that we wanted to talk on Tuesdays, and now we've been called to flip over some tables. My co-host in the building tonight, Lost in Translation. What's going on with you, my guy?
Indeed, I don't think they was ready for the king wave, man. They saw the flood coming. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
they ain't ready, man. They ain't ready.
Yeah, boy. Look, when I put that intro together, man, I said to myself, I said, man, we got to show men in a bigger light, bro. We got to
right.
in a bigger light. So that video gave you everything. Now, I want you guys to go back when you get through watching this. I want you to go back and I want you to find me in that video. The person that finds me in that video, I'll send you a $20 cash app. You go back and find me in that video. I'm in there. All right. Also, those little kids that were in there, those were the sons of all of those men that were there. Some of those men that were there happened to have their sons with them, so they brought them with them as well. But yeah, we have to show black men looking like that because, you know, we ain't nothing. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we get the reputation that we horrible fathers and we horrible men, and we don't get it, right? And right. Want to put that light out there, man. We're gonna keep pushing that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Who we got in the chat tonight, my brother?
Well, we're going to start out with the first one who says something. We're going to talk to take heed to the message. You know what I'm saying? All up in the building.
Come on.
And then, of course, you know, we had Break in the building. Miss Jenny hanging out in the back. Of course, you know how we got that. Of course, we got Lee Clinton in the building.
Yes, sir.
Of course, that's me. You know, we just having a little fun. And let's see who else we have in the building. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Catellia in the building. And we got Embrace the Grace. Take Heed, of course, we already got her. Who else we got? JT from the What We Know podcast in the building. Let's see who else. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Tommy B in the building. You know,
Tommy
we
B.
got to represent Tommy B.
My guy.
Also, we got Mark Harris in the building. Who else have we got? V, Ben Israel in the house. What's happening?
Yeah.
And of course,
My
you know,
boy.
we got Almanaz in the building, man. So that's what we got so far coming in, man.
You know what, man? Before we do get the show started, man, I want to say to everybody, listen, we put a lot of work in over here, guys. And if you guys want to contribute to the channel, which you should want to, we give great content over here. You definitely should do that. If you see at the bottom of the screen here in a few seconds, you'll see the Cash App rolling at the bottom of the screen. Please go ahead and hit that Cash App for your boy tonight. Right. Also, let's see here. My co-host, Lost in Translation, put your Cash App in the back so I can scroll across the screen.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you could give to the channel by giving a super chat. You could also give Cash App to, just show your boy you love him. You know what I'm saying? We do this. We on here 7 nights. We on here 7 days a week, guys. We rolling over here 7 days a week. So you want to do that? Please do that. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button because we want to share this lovely content with everybody. So make sure you hit that share button and subscribe button. Now, we got some people in the back we're gonna bring up, man. We have a show tonight that's predominantly ladies that I'm looking at here. So we're gonna do ladies first. And so who you want to bring up first? But before we do that, I want to bring up a special lady in here tonight. And let her do her wine. Look, she's a connoisseur of wine. Sister Anissa is in the building. Anissa, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
yes.
ready. I'm going to bring Anissa up, and she's going to do the wine of the night before we get started. So if you guys are looking to chill with a glass of wine, she's going to get you taken care of. You'll see her right after this.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight we are featuring a Chardonnay. It is Lloyd Chardonnay, if everyone can see that. It is by Robert Lloyd. He is also very well known for making a Chardonnay by Rombauer. But this is a wonderful Chardonnay. It's my first time trying it tonight, and I actually really, really like it. It has notes of tropical fruit. We have a pineapple, yellow peach, ripe pear, candied apple, baking spice, and vanilla. This is definitely a full-bodied Chardonnay, very creamy, very buttery, very smooth on the tongue. So, like I said, this pairs well with pork, fish, and poultry. My first time trying it, and this is an excellent, excellent Chardonnay. So for those who are looking for a new Chardonnay that maybe you haven't tried, this is a very, very good one. It's by Lloyd.
right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being here tonight. My co-host will be back in a minute. Oh, there he is right there. My bad. Boom. There you go. All right. So, guys, you know what? Look at this panel tonight. We have a lovely mixture of beautiful Black intellectual people here tonight. All right. We also have a newbie in the house tonight. So glad that she's here. So I want to check everybody's temperature. How are you? How are your family? How's everybody doing? We'll start with our newbie here. Jamie, how are you tonight, Suge? And how's everything going in your life?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you inviting me to this panel. I'm excited to see what type of conversation we have. And my family's doing good. Actually, my son is sitting right in front of me right now. So he's doing calculus. He's stuck on calculus right now. So that's what we're doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for coming in tonight. All right, Miss Jenny, how are you tonight?
Hi, everybody. I am doing very well. I had a very productive day. I got some things done that weren't even on my schedule and some things that were, and I did some meal prepping and planning. So just a really good day to be a housewife.
Okay.
I'm a PhD.
What? All right. And then we have Mr. Bennett in the building tonight. Mr. Bennett, how are you, man? How's the family? What's going on with you?
Everything is good. I'm actually still grinding here. So I'm on another computer. I got a whole setup here. So I'm kind of following my phone as well as here. So hopefully it won't be too much of a distraction, but got to make that cash and just grinding here. And that's what I do. So, but everything is good here.
All right, man. Okay. We got our Payne in the building tonight. Our Payne. All right, looking over there, looking like Denzel's brother tonight.
Yes.
Hey, all right, Payne, how are you, man? How's everything going over there?
I'm doing fine. You know, it's nice to be up here with you fellas, and I haven't had so many captive ladies to my so I can badger them all night long. So
yeah.
I love the ladies. I'm only joking.
All right, man. Thank you for being here. JT from What We Know Podcast is in the building tonight. My brother from another mother. How you doing tonight, man? How's everything going?
What's going on, man? Hey, I'm just glad to be here. It's Tuesday. You already know what it is, bro.
Absolutely. Well, you just heard her talk about wine. So, Anissa, how are you tonight?
I am lovely. And thank you so much for the intro. I really like that. So I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Having a great day. Had a great day today. So today was Self-Care Tuesday. So yeah, I'm excited to be here tonight, ready for the conversation.
Absolutely.
The bottle was half empty though, man. Y'all saw that bottle was half empty, man, you know.
All right. Harmonize in the building tonight. Harmonize, how are you tonight, sweetheart?
I am well. Thanks for asking.
I know that's right. Short to the point. Bam. Last but not least, give it up for the queen in the building tonight. Take heed to the message. Listen here. Take heed to the messages in the building. If you have not subscribed to Take Heed, we will virtually jump you and slap you. Take heed to the message. How are you tonight?
I am doing just fine. The family is well. The king is upstairs resting until he wake up.
Nice.
I know that's right. All right, come on. All right, and now my co-host in the building, Lost in Translation, man. How are you, my brother?
You know, I am well. I was looking forward to today. You know what I'm saying? All weekend long, I'm like, I can't wait. Today was a good day, though. It was very productive. So I was looking forward to making sure we get to the shows in the can. So I'm glad to be in the service of Black Man Unfiltered in the chat. One more game.
Okay. Come on. All right, man. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate everybody for being here tonight. We're going to have a great conversation. I have a couple of videos that we're really going to dip into tonight, starting with the first one. We got to get this one out the way. But again, if you just came in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. If you want to give to the channel, you see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen on the Cash App. You want to give a super chat, it's available as well. If you want to become a member of the channel, go ahead and do that as well. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the show tonight. Love is not what you can give, it's what you can take. So I want to go ahead and pull the first video up, and we'll go from there. Here we go.
we could stop celebrating suffering in relationships so much.
Sure.
Why do I have to suffer for you for 10 years and then all of a sudden it's like in year 11, you know, you love me so much, not because of who I am, but you love me so much that I literally stayed beside you while you were abusing me.
Yeah.
Why am I glorifying? Why am I glorifying the suffering that you allowed me to encounter for 10 years? And now when it's time for you to celebrate me, you're not celebrating me because you love me and you value me and you cared for me and you are returning me back to God in a better way than what you found me. But now you're at the place where we are now celebrating my endurance for your suffering.
Yeah.
We've got to be a culture that stops celebrating that you've got to die in order for us to be able to resurrect this amazing marriage. We die to things like not having self-control. We die to selfishness.
Entitlement.
We die to entitlement. I don't have to die to your infidelity.
Yeah.
I don't have to die to your physical and emotional abuse. I don't have to die to those things. Actually, if I die to myself and learn that I'm a girl that I don't love myself, then maybe I would attract someone that would not cheat on me. Maybe I would attract someone who will not beat and abuse me. If I die to my unworthiness, then God is able to resurrect me to someone who is able to love me properly. Ladies, can we please stop celebrating that we have the ability to endure suffering?
Can you please sit down?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the lady. We'll go ahead, and Anissa is in agreement. I see that in her head already. She's already the sisterhood president, the president of the sisterhood, CEO of the sisterhood is here. But we'll start with Jamie. I knew it. Jamie, when you see that, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
I didn't see what was wrong with what she said. I think what her core is I'll rock with you. I just don't understand why I have to deal with cheating. I think a lot of times women are, if you look at it, it's the lie about the cheating and then the cheating that is the problem. Right? And so I don't want to deal with you being broke and your emotional trauma and then you also cheating on me. That's what I looked at it when she said it. Now, I don't know what happened to her. I can tell that she has been through it. You feel me? But a lot of women have been through it. So I'm not quite, I can't voice a complete opinion because I don't know her like that. She seemed, a little bit in her feelings, and rightfully so, depending on what type of man she had. Because some of y'all, I mean, not all, but some of y'all are not very nice, especially because you have trauma issues. So it is what it is. But she said, why didn't I value myself? Why do I have to stay for 10 years? So that's what I see. That's all I see right now. We'll see. I have to look a little bit deeper.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the top up here to JT. JT, what are your thoughts?
It's propaganda. I ain't never heard no damn woman ever or no man celebrating her suffering. It's crazy. Had nothing to do with cheating or nothing. It has everything to do with whatever it is that you go through in a relationship. And but she was just talking about, I gotta say, it was just all propaganda. I just ain't never that we ain't been in a culture where you just have people celebrating suffering in a damn relationship. That's not what it is. Basically, when you have that, you probably have baby mamas saying some stuff like that. Yeah, I'm coming out here, I'm swinging today, y'all. But you would have baby mamas that come out here. This is what guys be revealing. Those what they call them Pookies and Ray Rays, be revering those women. She had my back, but I was doing this. She had my back, but not women. Not women. That's Pookie, Ray Ray, and Sharkeisha culture. But that woman was talking, and I'm pretty sure where I'm hearing the people in the back hooping and hollering, it was a church type of environment. Am I right? Am I right, black man? Were they on a thing where it was, it's propaganda, bro. I'm just gonna leave it right there because we got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Then we're gonna drop down here to Arpain. Arpain, what are your thoughts?
Mute Monster got your Arpain.
Mute Monster got you, doc.
Mutation. Yeah.
No, you still muted, and the stripper pole
muted
on
though.
the right hand
I
corner.
know it's muted, but my damn mouse wasn't working.
Oh, okay.
It was trying to get me to calm down before I say anything. So
you can't be getting them eggs.
Yeah, move your camera over a little bit to the left because your stripper pole showing over there to the right. Go ahead.
Well, I want my stripper pole to show. I just want to let the ladies know I'm a little limber and where it counts.
Anyway, there you go. Slick Rick.
So let me put it to you this way. I understand that she's talking about her individual trauma, and she could be completely correct. The only thing I can't stand when women do is when they talk about men cheating. It's a projection. It's a lie. It's a way to garner sympathy from the audience, because women cheat on men a whole lot more than we cheat on them. It's as simple as that. And especially in the modern era, women are just, they cheat on guys. If it's not attention cheating, it's not talking to the DMs, somebody's plowing the goddamn field, and then they're coming home. So I just think that men need to stop, trying to fall back when women use the cheat word, because it's a lie. It's a projection. They project everything they do wrong on us all the time. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I actually wrote some shit down on this thing. Where's the accountability? She's in a whole relationship, and everything she says is like she was just like some kind of innocent participant in this whole thing. Come on. If I'm in a relationship with you, even if I messed up, you can't say that you were some innocent bystander just taking a pounding. It's just bullshit. We need to get past that. If I'm gonna be in a relationship, if we're in a relationship together, I gotta work thing out with you. You gotta work some things out with me. It may work out, it may not. But let's stop projecting the worst of each one of our relationships on each other. I'll just land it there.
All right. So let's go ahead and hop up to our Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, what are your thoughts on the video you just saw?
I agree a lot with what Brother Arpain was saying. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if the story was legit or not, or is she just projecting something because it's popular in the culture to hear. Certainly, let me get some context before you go. Okay. This lady is the first lady of one of the biggest pastors in Memphis, Tennessee. Right.
Okay.
They have a huge church.
I was right.
So this isn't even her. This is she talking about then?
She talked about what she went through prior to meeting her husband.
To meeting her husband, so she was in an abusive relationship for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And so the question is, should we be then celebrating the fact that she was in a relationship for 10 years, or the only time the guy was going to honor her was for taking abuse for 10 plus years? Yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't agree with that. I don't know if it's as prevalent as people are making it out to be. I do think some of this is a projection. But if you're in an abusive relationship, you need to get out of it. And the fact that, people will stay in an abusive relationship. Now, again, that's not to say that you're not going to go through some things. If you're going to be married for a long time, you're going to go through growing pains, but abuse shouldn't be tolerated, mental, verbal, physical. I'm just not with that. So, you need to change that situation if those things are happening. But don't turn that then into you're going to then use your trauma in that setting. So you're almost capitalizing off of it. So, if it's the past, then put it in the past and move on, and teach women not to endure that. But, she's capitalizing on what she went through, unfortunately, but that's how it is.
Okay. Almanaz.
It again is propaganda. She is perpetuating the same narrative. All black men cheat. All black men, are here to dog you out. All black men are abusive to you. She did all of that talking, knowing that the average attention span for a person is somewhere between 15 and 30 seconds. So by the time she got to the end where she was talking about, knowing your worth and recognizing you've been abused and all of that, people had quit listening. So all they heard was black men abuse you, black men beat on you, and I have no choice but to stay here and take it. So I can do without her.
So it was basically Color Purple story time.
Basically, yeah.
Anissa.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Well, this is where the conversation goes left. Because I understood where she was coming from. I think if you have honest conversations with people who've been married 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Those women and men have put up with some mess. They have gone through a lot. And let's not act like these things are just glorious from the beginning and they're glorious throughout. You know, people go through some things in their relationships. And I think what she was saying is, why do we have to go through the 10, 15, 20? Like, for example, like Michelle Obama said, her and Obama have been married for 30 years. For 10 years, she couldn't stand her husband, just because of the things that were going on in the relationship. So there are some people that can come up and they can be honest and they can be forthright. This is not all gravy. This is not all wonderful. You will go through some things. And why do we have to celebrate having to go through the bull crap, in order to get to, I got to be married to you 30 years before it gets good. I think that's where she was coming from. I definitely understood, what she was saying. But as far as the title, love is about, it's about giving, it's about sacrifice, and it's about serving each other. And I think when you have both parties invested and committed to doing that, that's when it's a beautiful dance.
Okay. All
And
right.
that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Miss Jenny, what seems to be your thoughts about the video?
Well, first, I think that it's important that we make a distinction between dating relationships and marriage, because she says, why do I have to wait to be celebrated after I've been through all this hardship for you to, properly love me and say good things about me? And a lot of women, they'll put up with this in a dating relationship, expecting that, oh, if I put up with all this tomfoolery, then I'll get a ring and then he'll really cherish me and then he'll really love me. When no, because in the dating stage, that's when the person is putting their best foot forward. So if he's doing that when you're dating, then it's all downhill. And so I think that, a lot of women, they'll put up with that while they're dating a guy that they really like for some reason, in hopes of a ring, but that's a bad method. But if you are already married, well, then you've made a vow before God to be with this person for better or for worse. And therefore, I think that, why do I have to, go through all this for you to celebrate me? Well, I don't think you had to go through that for him to celebrate you. But if you went through it, then don't you want to be celebrated because you went through it? If I had a man who cheated on me and I stayed with him and we ended up having a 50-year marriage, I would want to be celebrated. I would want to get a pat on the back and say, good job for honoring your vows and doing what you said. Because there are a lot of people who quit their marriages for less. And so, it shouldn't have to be that way, that you have to put up with a lot of stuff that you shouldn't have to put up with. Of course, every marriage is going to have problems, but, abuse and cheating are things that you shouldn't have to put up with. But if you do, then you should get celebrated. You should get congratulated for honoring your word. Because at the end of the day, what they do is between them and God, but what you do is between you and God. And so they can act as crazy as they want to, but you are the one who was an adult and you made the vow and said that I will be with this person until death do us part. And if you fall on that agreement, then that's not on them, that's on you. And so when a woman takes accountability, or anybody takes accountability for what they said and the commitment that they made, then then they'll be doing better. Then they'll have the right mindset where it's like, oh, I'm gonna endure this, but God is gonna bless me, and my spouse is gonna love me more because they saw that I love them through this hard time that we had, and it might make their relationship richer in the end.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Jenny. I appreciate it. Last but not least, take heed to the message.
Why am I last? I have a problem with that. I don't want to be last.
Because I know you're gonna come with it, and we got to get
It's
come
too
on.
late.
Ain't nobody gonna come up back. Nobody want to come behind you.
Some comfort.
It's too late, baby.
So my problem is that she's the first lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my problem is that first, you were already in the church when you were dating this man that you claimed that y'all was 10 years together. Now, it sounds like what she's talking about is hurt from her situation, whatever she been through prior. You know what I'm saying? So that's my problem right there. Sometimes as women, we when we in the church, we're seeking the man without seeking God first, to ask God to clean out what's not right within us for marriage. Because when you asking God to go clean out everything that is not right in you for marriage, this is getting you ready so that you won't run into the Pookie and Rere nonsense. Because when we sit up here and call our brothers, oh, he ain't shit man, that means you ain't an ain't shit woman. Because y'all attract each other. So let's talk about the true nitty gritty. You know what I'm saying? When we women get these men who ain't shit, we ain't shit either. Something is wrong with us too, because you shit begat shit. But women do not want to come and tell the truth. You don't want to come and tell the truth. Oh, he dogged me. He did this. He did that. He didn't know how to treat me. This and that. But you know what? Prior to him, you had a good man. You fucked over him, and the baby that you had with him was not really his baby. So you was doing nonsense prior in your relationship before this guy. You mistreated him, and now you got with this other guy, and then you thought you was going to be living better. But remember, you did nonsense before him. So shit beget shit. We got to talk about it because it's not right. It's not right. Every time we turn around, it's all the black men's fault. You get in a marriage, you be married like 5 years, the marriage didn't go well. Now you like, it's all his fault. So you didn't play no part in this drama. This is the thing that I have a problem with our sisters. Nobody want to come say, we both fucked up. We both messed up. This is how the marriage failed. We both messed up. But no, we like to just blame the men the whole time. Now listen, I'm not saying that our brothers are perfect. I'm not saying that our sisters are perfect either. But my smoke is with my sisters. Because you every time you come to social media, it's all guns is blazing and you talking just about all the drama you've been through. So this is why you have other women just following you because they're hurt. So what you're saying resonates with them. So they feel it. You heard all of them like, yeah, because they've been through the same thing. They've been through the same thing. That's why women on social media who talk and disgrace men, they are the biggest on every platform because they disgrace men. And some of them they playing on the same team and they up here. So with that being said, if you got a man that every time you turn around, he cheating on you, and if you got a man every time you turn around, he can't do nothing for you, and if you got a man that's abusing, first of all, if he's abusing, you need to go. Don't stay. I don't try to work that out and none of that stuff. I can't compromise with that part. But if you got a man that's cheating on you, disrespecting you, and doing all this nonsense to you, baby, you attract them, honey. There's some shit going on inside you that you attract this man to you. And if every man, and you know what? I know a lot of y'all got smoke for Tyler Perry, but I remember he said this in Newark, New Jersey at Symphony Hall. He said that it's something in you, baby, that is attracting these type of men. So it's something in you that is not right. This is why you keep running into these type of men. There are some good black men out here, but we worried about how his body structure look, his face look, what kind of car he drive, how much money he bring in. And sometimes the one that you want that got everything that you want be the devil incarnate. And everybody missed that part because he making 6 figures. That's good. But it's the one that may not have too much, but he got a job and he working and he got a house and he live on his own and he doing what he got to do. That's your king. I'm not saying that you got to go below the belt. You don't want this man because he don't have much. But sometimes it take both of y'all to build a dynasty. I think the melanated community missed that part. Somewhere down the line, we lost that in the crack era. I'm done.
All right. So So I'm gonna bring up Trey had a perspective on this as well. And then Lost in Translation will end it. But Trey, what are your thoughts on the video that you saw, my brother?
Well, first of all, good evening to everybody.
What's going on, my brother?
What's up, bro?
I would question her in the sense of where's the positive examples to see the no struggle marriages, right? You have a bunch of kids that are growing up in single mother homes. There are no marriages. So this idea that we're going to take two people who have no concept of what marriage is, put them together, and then they're not going to struggle, that doesn't make any sense. That's not a logical answer. Of course they're going to struggle. He doesn't know how to be a husband fully. She doesn't know how to be a wife fully. So they are literally on the job training. They're learning as they go. There's going to be some struggle. Now, I'm not condoning the abuse. I'm not condoning the cheating, but these things are bound to happen. I have family members who have been married for 50, 60 years. You think they ain't been through some ish? They've been through a few things, right? And the question is what did they learn when they were children and in the early parts of their marriage? And if they didn't witness it, they didn't have good mentors, other people who were married, good mentors. I'm telling you, as a single man, I'm going to make some mistakes. If I get married, I'm going to make some mistakes. You can blame it on my heart and blame it on my head, not my heart. I don't know because I didn't see it. My mother was married for 3 years. I was already off golfing, gone into the military. I wasn't home when she was married. I never had a positive example of a man inside my home that was a husband to my mother. So you best believe there are going to be some mistakes. The question is how much patience do you actually have? How much are you willing to work with that man that has the same amount of experience in this new endeavor as you do? To me, that's what makes the difference in a marriage. Is one of the reasons why I'm not so eager to get married, because I don't think women see it the same way. I think that they think that I'm supposed to be a finished product and she's just waiting at the finish line for me. No, baby, I'm learning too. We're learning together. So I hear what she's saying, but there will be some struggle simply because the community has not done its job in building up families the proper way.
Now, before Lost in Translation goes, I want to say this real quick and let Lost in Translation take this one. I was reading something that really blew my mind. Take heed. It really blew my mind, Mr. Bennett. I heard and I read and I heard that back in the day when you got married, traditionally it was not the woman who walked down the aisle; it was the man. Let me say it again. I think I talked to Lost about this the other day.
We talked about that.
Yeah. It was the man who walked down the aisle because the man was the prize. He was the leader. He was the one that was going to take the woman over from her husband. From her father, and become her new leader and her husband. And she became obedient to him. And for him to take that huge step, he was the person that walked down the aisle and everybody admired for taking that leadership role. And somewhere along the way, those roles got reversed. And the woman was the prize, and she walked down the aisle. See, the Lost in Translation, if you could tell me what you told me the other day, you said something about that's what the term. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's what I came up with. We all have these certain terms that linger in history. You see what I'm saying? And the term was, he left me at the altar. Okay. So that leads me to believe that she was the one that was waiting and he never showed up.
Come on.
See what I'm saying?
Come on.
So nobody ever really thought about that. So sometimes history likes to revise itself and we forget because it's been so long since we had an abundance of marriages. And I think that's what you were speaking to, Black Man.
Yeah.
When you're out of practice, you'll see stuff like that.
Now go ahead and get and say your remarks on the video, because I definitely want to get your perspective on the video.
You know what? As a leader, I have to make sure I have to guide my mouth properly, because it is a weapon. And I want to load it tonight with some silver bullets before I speak. You see what I'm saying? Because it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall guide your path. Lord, I'm asking you to guide my path this evening because I want to say some things, but I feel you pulling on my coattail. You know what I'm saying?
We flipping tables, Doc. Come on.
Here's the thing, man. The reason why we call it flipping tables is because we need to make sure that we get the other side. You understand what I'm saying? Even Jesus flipped tables. You know what I'm saying? Here's my thing. When people spew propaganda, it's to gain something. It's to gain your confidence. And normally when somebody cons you, they call that a confidence game. What they do is they tell a generic story that relates to a lot of people, put some soft piano music behind it, and then don't give any facts. You see what I'm saying? I don't like that. My thing is this: there are certain little things that you should have been taught as a woman. And one of those things is to edify your husband. You never tear down your husband in public. Even the Bible talks about that. You know what I'm saying? A wonderful woman builds up her home, but a bad woman, a bad wife tears down her home with her mouth. You see what I'm saying? And then we expect, your husband to still go into this world with that vigor. You see what I'm saying? It's not really fair. You can't do that. And my thing is this: once you think about it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. You took abuse when you shouldn't have. My thing is, what did you do to prepare to be a wife in your marriage? What did you do to prepare to be a husband in your marriage? I'll tell you one thing. When I was little, my grandmother used to groom my girl cousins all the time. They would go to school. They would learn all these little sassy behaviors. They would pop their neck, roll their eyes. And my grandmother would say, hey, don't you do that. Don't you do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a precursor to rebellion. And rebellion in a woman trying to be a wife is that woman who tears down her home. You see what I'm saying? And I can speak to that because none of the women in our family took an ass whooping. You hear what I said? You understand what I'm saying? Because they knew not to dishonor their men. They use their words with honey. You see what I'm saying? They talk to men like they got some sense. They appreciate and they honor the men in their homes. I have never, ever seen a woman in my family on my father's side or my mother's side who dishonored their husband. Did you hear what I said? You know what I'm saying? It's how you talk to people, And my whole thing is this: when did we stop going to marriage counseling before we got married? That's the accountability that I'm talking about, because you're talking about he didn't celebrate you until you went after this. How come you didn't go to marriage counseling when they talk about stuff like that? How do you celebrate victories? How do you honor him in defeat? All of those things they talk about in marriage counseling. You see what I'm saying? How to reach one another when you're married, when you're mad at each other, how to talk to each other when you're down, how to support each other. They talk about all of that in marriage counseling. You mean to tell me you're going to skip kindergarten and go straight to the end and then expect to have knowledge and wisdom and to have a strong Bible believing family, and then you want those results when you didn't put in the work? I blame you, ma'am. You hear what I said? I blame you because you said yes to somebody who was ill-equipped. You said yes to somebody who was ill-prepared. You hear what I said? And all it came down to what you wanted to hear. You wanted to get 20 in the front
and 40 in
the back. You just wanted your bills paid. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You wanted to get your bills paid by any means necessary. You didn't ask no questions, just as long as you had 20 in the front and 40 in the back. You know what? It's you women that's giving marriage a bad name. You hear what I said? You understand what I'm saying? You're the one who gave marriage a bad name because you're marrying men who are ill-equipped. Yes, you are. You're marrying men who are ill-equipped. And because you're leading with your flesh, you're compromising your legacy. You're compromising your legacy. Now, guess what? I'm not going to let the men off the hook either. Oh, no. That's why they call it flipping tables. Did you hear what I said? Listen, men, you already know if she talks to you sideways, any old kind of way, you already know not to put her on a pedestal. Did you hear what I said? If she talks to you like you ain't got no sense behind and in front of your back, you have lost your mind, sir. What I said? All I'm saying is this: put in the work. Put in the dadgum work. Make sure you prepare yourself as a husband, get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to prepare yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to wind up with somebody who's going to be on stage talking your talk. Now, my whole thing is this. Men can't do what women do. They get on these stages and they cry and they moan and they talk about all of this, what I've been through and what I've been. What if men did that? You see what I'm saying? What if men got up on a stage with some soft piano music and got up there and started saying, gentlemen, I too have been abused. My woman took advantage of me. She cheated upon me. And she had a baby behind my back. She spent all of my money and left me destitute. But I tell you, I rise. Yes, I rise. I am Superman, super something man, here for your entertainment.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? What if men did that? We would look like a plum fool.
Yeah.
We would look like a plum fool. Men don't do that. Don't make yourself look bad.
What? Can you imagine a man doing that, Lost?
Make sure that you plant your seed in fertile ground. Make sure you plant your seed in fertile ground. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
You know what, Lost? I want to give you 30 seconds. Can I give you 30 seconds real quick? I want, because you just preached a sermon. So I want to give you 30 seconds before I bring Prototype up and let him get it. I want you, can I give you 30 seconds, which you accepted, my brother? Let me give you 30. Right. Give you 30. You preaching tonight. You got to give him 30. Come on. Oh. Come on, Jenny. I see you. Give him 30. All right. Come on. That boy didn't preach tonight. Come on, Trey. I see you, Trey. Give him some. Give him some. All right. Y'all about to praise him tonight. Doctor in Translation and preaching tonight. He preaching tonight. I appreciate you, my guy. Let me go ahead and bring up, hold on, Trey. I'll bring you back in a minute. I'm gonna bring up Old Man or Pain back in a minute as well. Prototype, you've been listening, brother. What are your thoughts on the matter? Then we're gonna move to our super chats and then our next video. Go ahead.
Man, hey, Lost. That boy good.
Come on, man. What's happening, Prototype? That's my guy right there.
Listen, man. So I watched the little video, right? And you know, she was going in like, "Oh, you only want to love me after you abuse me, right?" But you got to look at it like this, right? Integrity produces loyalty. You need to put in the work, and too many times women just want to be loved because they themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm me, love me, give me everything. Well, hey, will we go over cater? Ain't that what we went over, guys? Cater to me. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm a woman. You know what I mean? But we don't appreciate. We look at trials and tribulations and suffering and putting in the work together to build that appreciation. You know, it takes time to build love. You know what I mean? So we love you because you put up with so much. Yes. Because maybe you wasn't doing nothing before that. You know what I'm saying? We just not loving your dirty draws. You're not that great of a person. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that we running you through the mill and you sticking to us, you know, now we figure like, oh, you earned it. Now we can give you the good stuff because you hung out through the bad. Because a lot of times we worried about y'all just, you know, y'all just there for the goodies. And we need somebody that's going to be there from the highs and the lows. So we'll test you. We'll test you with all the lows. And then we'll reward you with the good. You know what I'm saying? Men do that.
That's what Proverbs says. Proverbs says your husband will love you and respect you. Your children will honor you, all based off your work ethic, what you do, how you serve them. Everybody will know. You ladies, you out there that complain about, I don't get no attention. That's not there for me. If you live in the house with a man that does not acknowledge you, then you're a woman that does not need to be acknowledged.
You don't need to be acknowledged.
There's women out here today who will be married and think they are owed acknowledgement, but their husband is a bitch ass nigga on Monday, He ain't shit on Tuesday. He don't make enough money on Wednesday, right? You talk to your friends. I remember a few weeks back, shout out to Freezy. Freezy came on here on Barbershop Night and said, you know why most men have side chicks? I put this as a clip on my channel. He said, the reason that men have side chicks, he said, there's nothing worse than going to your wife, tapping her on the shoulder. And she talking to a friend, laughing and kicking, and she trying to look at you like something wrong because you tapped on the shoulder. He said, you know why they go to them side chicks? Because when they go over those side chicks' houses, they made them coffee with whipped cream. Shout out to Freezy. There shouldn't be any man looking for a side chick if his wife is dealing with his dick. You don't have to work. Listen, this is real talk, ladies and gentlemen. If you talk to your man like shit and you do your man like shit, you tell your man, you know, most of the, I'm gonna go, where's my, I got Black Woman Insult Bible in here somewhere. Chapter 3, verse 45. You don't nobody want you but me. You ain't shit. I don't want you. Don't need no man. Don't want you. I only married you because you paying my bills. Fuck you. You ain't. And then when the man say, you know what? You right. I'm gone. Guess what happens then? Harmonize. That motherfucker leaving me with all these bills and this mortgage. I don't know. I ain't did shit to him. I ain't said nothing to him. I don't talk to him any kind of way. And I think most men need to, let me tell you this and I'm done. I'm gonna land my plane here. Most men need to have body cams. I think most men need to invest in body cams. Go ahead and put body cams on with these wives and your girlfriends and your fiancés. And then when she go out line and calling all the people to turn them against you when you walk out, I want you to get the footage and play it back for everybody. Play the footage back, because a lot of women out here, they're very manipulative in the relationship. They're manipulative outside the relationship, and they'll use that manipulation tactic to bring other family members in and third parties. Now you the man that ain't shit, but you've been getting talked to like shit for years, talked down on for years. And when a man finally gets to a point he leaves, you upset, you mad. Lord have mercy. Thank you so much, Prototype. I thank you for that perspective. I'm gonna get to these super chats real quick. Tonight gonna be wonderful. I feel it in my spirit. Let's see here. Let me go to these super chats. All right, take heed to the message. She's a member of the channel. Thank you so much. Take heed. I appreciate you, Sugarfoot. Thank you so much. We got RBN in the building tonight. Salute to the panel and the topic. Thank you so much. I think he at the plantation tonight. Shout out to RBN at the plantation. All right. Mr. Ekane, they got a forehead like a damn Jeep Wrangler. $2 super chat. Thank you, Ekane. We always play like that, y'all. Thank you, Ekane, for sending the $2 super chat. He said she and the man were abusing each other. That is correct. You know what, Ekane? There's a lot of men out here that don't want to be embarrassed, but a lot of wives out here whooping their husband's ass.
Oh, they ain't gonna tell that part.
Oh, they don't want to talk about it. Walk up to the husband, hit him right in the mouth. Slap him in the face. You know why she does it? Because she knows he's passive and he ain't gonna do nothing.
She picked him. She picked him. She picked the one that she can control because she want to be subjugated.
And you know what? Charleston White said something that was so good a few weeks ago. He said, no good man is ever liked. Because a good man gonna check you on your clothes, he gonna check you on your attitude, he gonna check you the way you're moving, right? And women say that's controlling. It's not controlling. There's a difference between being controlling and taking control. And sometimes when you get out of control, somebody got to take control. You're not gonna leave out this house tonight with those titties outside your dress like that. You're not gonna leave out the house when you bend over. People can see Lake Placid under your ass. We're not going to do that. We're not going to go out looking like that. And most women will push back on their husband and say, you controlling, you telling me what to wear. No, ma'am. He's taking control because you can't see it. You can't see that when you go out. Your husband can't have a good time because he's worried about all those men up there looking under your damn skirt. All right. Here we go again. Marriage, politics, and sports, $20 super chat. He said for the Black Men Flippin Network. Thank you so much. All right. Believe it or not, that is our pain on that picture with that beautiful bride. You know, he's been through a lot. Information man is in the building. I love you. I love you. I love you, sir. RFA. Information man's in the building with the $4 super chat. He said, peace and respect, family. Thank you so much. Let me give y'all something. And after this, we'll be right back to go into the next video. Again, guys, hit the like button, hit the
Hey, Black
subscribe.
Man, before you go into that next video,
Yes, sir.
I did want to have a reply to something that that was said earlier in the show. I did want to come back to that. So if you get a chance before you go to your next.
Yeah, absolutely. Right after this, I'll do the super chat, and right after this, we'll let you get that out. Here we go.
Oh, let me slow it down. Rapping with the singing, I be swinging. You can get it all free like welfare. Yeah. Back to the beginning, know what I told ya. I got 2 degrees, now I'm dumb rich. This sound like some 718 shit. The living weirdo on the same shit. Damien, let's go violinist.
All right. Thank you guys for that super chat. I appreciate that. Mr. Bennett, you have the floor.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to something that Anissa had brought up when she was talking about Michelle Obama. I had read her book when it came out, Becoming. Wife read it. We had several conversations about it. And when you talked about the first 10 years of her marriage that she wasn't happy, one thing I got out of reading that was a lot of that unhappiness had to do, one, with her expectations, which she admits later in the book in terms of how she was expecting him to be the source of her happiness. And again, another person can't necessarily make you happy. So that's a reality that she had to come to. But then also she was married to a very ambitious person. And I think a lot of that unhappiness, I think a lot of it by her own admission was that she simply couldn't accept him being him. And I think even in marriage, so the perception is I'm not happy with this is because you're not accepting who he is or who she is for that matter. And you're trying to control how they act and operate. And for years, she was just very dismissive. She was dismissive. The thing that got me most about the book was she was dismissive the first day he showed up at work. This is a Harvard Law School graduate who was the head of his law school. He was the, I forget the name, what you call it, but he was the head of the law review at Harvard. And all the ladies in the office were enamored with him, because of that. He's a Black man who's the head, and she was very dismissive. So I think a lot of her unhappiness had to do with expectation. I don't want to necessarily target on her, but I think just people in general. What is really driving them unhappy? It wasn't abusive, but the idea here is that a lot of us, the expectations that we come into marriage and relationships with, oftentimes have an impact in terms of our perception of what am I happy or am I in a good situation or not. And it wasn't until she started to accept some things about him and about her taking control over certain aspects of her life is when she started to quote unquote like him. So I just brought that up because you mentioned her, but I think that happens in a lot of relationships. Again, women oftentimes marry when they say, I'm marrying the man of my dreams. You marry the man of your expectation, but you're not marrying that guy for who he is. And if he is an ambitious man, then you're going to find some things that are going to be problematic. And the issue is, are you going to continue to fight him over him being who he ultimately wound up being, or are you going to love that man and support him in what he's starting to do? And it seems like once she got to a point where she could do that, then I think things got better. So a lot of times our unhappiness, it has a lot to do with perception and how we see each other. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it just seems like in that particular situation, she was at the source of it because she just wanted to come down to my way or the highway. And sometimes with a dominant man, like Black Man was saying, a man who's in control, you're either going to roll with that energy or you're not. And if you can't, then maybe that's not something someone you need to be with, or is going to take you a longer time. It may take you 20 years to finally stop fighting. And I love what Take Heat even said about even her marriage. She was kind of like that rebellious woman until she came to a point and says, all right, I give up. I'm stopped fighting my husband. And so a lot of women, when they talk about how hard it is and how tough it is and things of that nature, a lot of it is just you're just trying to control things. So I just want to throw that out there as a perspective. You're free to reply if you want.
Yeah,
but I just throw that out there because
yeah. My only response to that is if you ever listen to the Netflix special that she did with Oprah, she says a lot of that unhappiness also had to do with centered around the birth of the children. And everybody knows when you have children that oftentimes does change the dynamic of that also can change the dynamic of the relationship. So I don't think it was completely her trying to change Obama or whatever. I'm sure she had to come to grips with that. But then also once the children came, I'm sure expectations and responsibilities changed as well. And if you're the person, birthing the babies, taking care of the babies, and like you said, you have this ambitious man and you're probably wanting a little more from him than he can give or is willing to give, then that can cause problems. So if you ever listen to that special, she also gives you a different viewpoint of some of the things that cause that unhappiness. It wasn't just
right. But I'm just saying, but that's gonna happen with a lot of men. Like, so again, for a lot of the ladies out there who are saying they want this. Yeah.
Right.
I was just saying in general, for a lot of women who say they want that alpha man or that man is going to, go over there and take over the world. Yeah, there's going to be some things that, again, you're either going to have to accept that he's maybe not going to be there for you 24/7, 365. And the question is, are you going to support him in the efforts? I remember one time, again, in the, I think in Obama's book, he says something about when he was a senator. So he's in the U.S. Senate. And he worked on a bill, I think, that prevented like nuclear proliferation or whatever. So he goes home to Michelle and she's like, oh, that's nice. Can you go to the store and get me some rat traps?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like, it's like here I'm trying to prevent the world from going to hell in a handbasket, but your only concern is getting some rat traps. So again, it's like, when you're all absorbed into your world, a lot of that unhappiness is going to be manifest. And then think about how he feels or anybody would feel if you have a great accomplishment, you go home and there's no acknowledgement of what you're doing. There's no appreciation for what you're doing. So I think that can happen to anybody, but certainly I just remember there's those cues from that relationship in particular, but I think it happens more times than not, where we just, we're in good situations, but we just don't realize it, or we just think that, it's all about how I'm feeling today versus not looking at the long term and not playing the long game in terms of where this relationship is going. So,
what? Let me say this real quick. Let me just say this before you guys go. Doesn't matter how high you are as a woman, she's still a woman, and it's still about her. The kids don't matter. You marry an ambitious man, you got to understand what you marry. That's why when you look at art, if you look at movie shows, that's why a lot of women leave the cops in the shows. I'm watching this kind of a B movie called Spaceman. A wife, her husband's a spaceman, so he goes out to space. He's going to be away for a year. So she gets pregnant, and she wants to break up with him while he's 1,000,000 miles away.
Yeah, that's the movie with Adam Sandler. I watched it last night.
I mean, what the freak are you talking about? If he gets that message from her, he's going to be destroyed. There's nothing he could do about it. I mean, so when you talk about, my wife, I was away. I'm going to just be real quick. I was away somewhere on travel. So she calls me up with a problem that she could solve. And I said to her, what do you want me to do about that? I'm 1,000 fucking miles away. I didn't say this stuff. I'm thinking it. I'm 1,000 miles away. I said, now I can't even relax because I know you're worried. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? And I gave her grace because I said, I married a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it is. So y'all got to understand, it ain't always about you. You marry an ambitious man, you got to take what goes with it. As long as when he's with you, he treats you like his queen. that gotta be enough for a while.
You know what? You know what, Arpane, I'm gonna say this. Why can't we look at everything like birth? Anissa just gave me a beautiful planted this seed in my head here, and I'm gonna get it out real quick. Why can't we look at it like birth? When Adam and Eve did what they did in the garden, the punishment was for Eve to have pain during childbirth. This woman just sat up here on the camera and said, why do we celebrate suffering? Well, when that child is developing inside of your body, how many women didn't go through morning sickness? How many women didn't feel that baby kicking their kidney and they pissing 5 or 6 times in an hour? How many times that baby got up under your chest and balled up and you were leaned over and saying, oh my God, that hurt. And it happened for 9 months. 9 months. And then when that baby came out vaginally or by C-section, then you getting cut, the doctor ripping you open, baby coming out through the vaginal area. If it's your first baby, it's going to be the pain of your life, right? You dealing with all that 9 months, and then the day of, you still dealing with excruciating pain. But when that baby comes, you bond with that baby instantly. No matter what you went through those 9 months, that pain didn't matter. That kidney kick from that baby didn't matter. It's just like in relationships. When two people get together, like Trey said, when two people get together who have never been married, who have never experienced marriage, he may feel a kidney kick. She may feel a little baldness of pain in her side. But when you go through that and you become one in that marriage and you be delivered from all those things that kept you down, then you birth something new. It's something beautiful. And you take care of it, you preserve it, and you let it grow. And it's all about going through those pains. And so sometimes in these relationships, you just got to be there for each other enough to go through those labor pains and know on the other side of those labor pains, something beautiful is happening. But I'll leave it there. I don't want to go.
Hold on. Let me pick it up because
go ahead,
let me tell you. Let me pick it up because the scripture that I just picked up leans into what you just said and to what Mr. Bennett says. In Genesis, God said, God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Okay. Here's my thing. That subdue part. That means control. You understand what I'm saying? My thing is women want men to have control over their finances because they request that he be financially stable, right? They request that he have control over his body because women like to look at nice things too. You see what I'm saying? They want to make sure that he has control over his life.
Right.
They want him to have control of everything except them. But my thing is this, once you become his wife, guess what? He's going to control you too. But he's going to keep you because God had charged him to keep up with his finances, to keep up with his house, to keep up with everything else, and to keep up with you. So if God told him to subdue, what you think he's going to do with you? He's going to protect you like God commanded him to protect everything else. So what's the problem? What's the problem? And I think a lot of women forget that. They want a man that they can control. Somebody who can put them on a pedestal. And that's the exact opposite of what the word said.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I had to pull it out of there, because sometimes people think you're blowing hot smoke. But I want to make sure that I load the clip with the righteousness. You know what I'm saying? What the Bible said. You understand what I'm saying? Because can't nobody tell God he capped. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's all I had to say about that. He want him to have control over everything else except you. But you want him to have control over everything else.
Yeah.
To me, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute.
Right. It doesn't. And to that loss, it doesn't. This my body, my choice shit. It doesn't work in marriage, because if you go into the word, you know, we try our best to know the word. The Bible says that the woman, the wife's body belongs to the husband, and so does the husband's body belong to the wife. Do not deprive your husband of sexual desires unless you both agree. And when you do agree, come back together again in that, so he will not be tempted. So a lot of women don't get that last part. You've agreed not to have sex. He respected that, but then you still not having sex. In the words of Take Heed, I know Take Heed said this and we laughed about it, but it's true. I ain't sucking nothing. I ain't giving you nothing. You ain't getting no cat. You ain't getting it from the back. I ain't doing all that. And then when Becky at the copy machine bent over to change the paper and say, you can put it in, there's a problem. God is telling you in the word, give your man that's if you don't take care of him, he'll be tempted. Why would you want to send your man out into the world tempted? Why would you want to send your man out to those women that's been watching y'all at the Christmas party at the job? And they say, ooh, girl, look at him with her. Ooh, girl, if I had that man right there. And a woman knows. Lost in translation, we talked about this a couple of shows ago. A woman knows when a man ain't getting none. She know when he ain't nurtured. She know when he ain't getting what he getting at the house, because she'll just walk up to him and gently just rub his hand and he'll collapse in her arms. She'll hug him and he'll just fall over on her. And that's what it is. And when
here's my thing, man. Here's my thing. When you get married, you become one, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Would you starve yourself?
Nope.
Would you deny yourself a thirst? So why would you deny your other half?
Boy,
that to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're one. You don't deprive yourself. You'll become weak. You'll become weak. And people don't understand that. That's the reason why he put y'all together. It's a powerhouse, you know? And when you deprive one from another, you can't expect him to go out and subdue the earth in his full vigor. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't do that. And with the same thing with the women, man, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Why are we making excuses to love? Love is supposed to be the easiest thing that you do. But we turned around and made it the hardest thing you could do. It's easy to hate. We get people to hate us in the comment section all the time. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, it's very rare that somebody say, you know what, I appreciate what y'all do, man. Y'all get up every day, come up with these topics, and then y'all give us a show. You know what I'm saying? Instead of what's on TV, which is some foolishness. Y'all give us a little bit of words, sprinkle in and up with a little entertainment, and then we leave going full. All I ask is you leave with some of the collection plate. You know what I'm saying? So we can keep this train rolling, because this thing ain't free.
And you know what, Lost? you know what's crazy? It's so many. I'm gonna say this, but we gotta get back to the show. It's so many men walking around empty. And then so many women say, you know what? Damn, that's all he think about. I'm gonna go ahead and give him some. So he empty. So she give him a little bag gas. Then his motor ain't running as good as it need to.
Yeah,
and then
got
he
a little
pull over
knock
to
in
the
his
right
engine.
gas station. Oh yes, but then he pull over to the right gas station, and somebody put their premium fuel in him.
Some of that
and he
93
start running
octane.
good. Then she gonna say, "Damn, he acting different. Why is he so happy when I'm like shit?" I talk to him like he ain't shit. This motherfucker walking around here like he in the Wizard of Oz, skipping down the yellow brick road. What is really going on? He look better. He talking better. He's walking straight up. The man is looking good. I'm not the reason for that, because the guilt will start to eat up at you. But let me say this, man. Anton Daniels is one of the most hard iron fist men I know on YouTube. And one day, he was doing a show, and in the middle of the show, I know you probably remember this, RP, in the middle of the show, a lady asked him on the show, in the comments, I think it was a lady, she said, Anton, you asking everybody else how they doing, how are you? Anton got choked up. He couldn't even finish the show. He said, nobody ever asked me that. And he just broke down. He couldn't even finish the show. He had to end the live. He was so choked up. Because, and as hard as he is, for that to choke him up, that lets you know that the intense pressure that men are under, that you are to be a robot, you are to do everything, but I don't have to do nothing because that's your damn job. What, you want, a cookie? All right, let me move on, because
that was one of his greatest. That was one of his greatest shows.
Man, he just got choked up. I could see it. Okay, let me get this other video out, man. Cool, Lord have mercy. We got 2 super chats. I'm gonna do these super chats real quick. Ikane says, "If I can't control her, I can't marry her." Thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. All right. Black Lexicon says, "It's about darn time. Bless you now." All right, Doc. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, my brother. All right. So listen, I'm not going to play a video, but I will. I do owe my brother another 30 seconds. Thank y'all for the super chats. Come on, put some in the collection plate for Bishop Lost in Translation. We thank y'all for coming over here to the Flippin Tables Baptist Church, where everybody is somebody, and flipping tables is what we do. Yeah, yes. We got our ladies over our ministry. Take heed, don't mind telling you what to do for your husband. Oh, JT, don't mind telling you. Arcane, don't mind telling you. Mr. Bennett gonna come in as an intellectual. Miss Jenny gonna tell you she got a PhD. And Jamie coming in through the rear. Gonna tell you what to drink. Gonna tell you what to think. Lord, come on, give him some. All right. Y'all better praise him tonight. All right. So let me go ahead and get to this video because I really want Trey to come in on this one. This guy is not favorable amongst a lot of people, right? He says a lot of stupid stuff. However, some stuff people say it resonates. And I want to play what he said that's going to combat what the first lady said. All right, here we go.
Definition of love. Love is not what you can give. It's about what you can take. Our mothers took a lot. It ain't about what you can give. It's about what you can take.
You're saying how much you endure.
Don't y'all put nothing on it but what I said. You figure it out. Because each person has to define love according to their life experiences, not what I'm saying. Men are incapable till somebody teaches. And who teaches? A good woman. Not the fucked up woman, a good woman. A woman who play like she believe your lies when she know you lying. A woman who forgive you when she keep catching you cheat. A woman who breathe life into you when she know you sorry. She teach you how to love by her actions. At some point, the guilt and shame that a man feels for being a piece of shit ass man will start to make this road grow out that concrete. But it's the environment. Every human is capable of becoming good, even if they bad. And I believe that with all my.
Oh man, I seen Anissa almost tear the back of her background. I seen Anissa almost tear her background up. So we'll start with Anissa. Anissa, what are your thoughts on the video?
That was a bunch of mess. That's a bunch of mess. I don't agree with what he said.
What you don't agree
You just
with?
don't like him. She's biased. He wasn't even listening, dog. She's biased.
We're gonna get into it after everybody give their little comment. We're gonna get into this full blast.
Let me hear it one more time so I can pick out my points. Let me hear it one more time. Can you play it again?
Pick something.
Real quick.
Pick something.
Definition of love. Love is not what you can give. It's about what you can take. Our mothers took a lot. It ain't about what you can give. It's about what you can take.
You're saying how much you endure.
Don't y'all put nothing on it but what I said. You figure it out. Because each person has to define love according to their life experiences, not what I'm saying. Men are incapable till somebody teaches. And who teaches? A good woman. Not the fucked up woman, a good woman. A woman who play like she believe your lies when she know you lying. A woman who forgive you when she keep catching you cheat. A woman who breathe life into you when she know you sorry. She teach you how to love by her actions. At some point, the guilt and shame that a man feels for being a piece of shit ass man will start to make this road grow out that concrete. But it's the environment. Every human is capable of becoming good, even if they bad. And I believe that with all my.
All right. Hold on to that thought, Sister Anissa. I know you're gonna have a lot to say. I want to go to take heed to the message. Take heed, you ain't going last tonight on this one. So open the floodgate for us here. What are your thoughts?
So a lot of y'all gonna hate me right now. But I like Charleston White. I'm sorry. I kid you not. He says some stuff that will like bring you back a little bit. But if you sit there and dissect what he say, you'll get to the truth. So what actually that I'm taking from what he's saying in this clip, because everybody have their own takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm taking away from what he's saying is that our mothers and our grandmothers, they went through hardship, but they knew how to keep the family together. That's the thing that we lack in this day and time. I'm not saying you should be in a marriage that will give just suffering, but I want to share something with you. The fire, the breaking, and the burning, this leads to a strong marriage. If you have never been through the fire, the breaking, and the burning, what kind of marriage are you in? Everybody go through suffering in a marriage. And I think a lot of women don't understand that part. Like when we going through suffering with the finances, now she gets so upset with him and tell him, you ain't shit, you never was shit, and I'm tired of living like this. I remember there was a woman who hit social media, said she left her husband because how the finances wasn't good anymore. So they were good at one time, but it turned around not to be good anymore. So she didn't want to be with him anymore. So she left this good man, and now she says she can't find another man like him, not even close to him, because that was her king. But because the finance part messed her up, and she probably was listening to her girlfriends, that blew the whole marriage out the water. Sometimes we women, we forget that the fire, the breaking, the burning, you're going to go through in marriage. And cheating only comes in a marriage. And I'm going to share this with y'all. And y'all going to be mad with me, but it is what it is. Cheating only comes in a marriage if you ain't fucking this man. If you not fucking this man, it's going to be problems. It's going to be problems. If you not making love to him, if you not being consistent with that love making, this is when cheating plays. Because remember, he's going out into the world and meeting different people. So if you don't know how to uplift your husband and talk to him and tell him, I appreciate you, I love you, my king, I'm here for you, I'm gonna make love to you when you tap me on the shoulder late at night in the midnight hour, and I'm gonna suck your dick anytime you ready. Okay, I'm not saying you supposed to drop drop everything and cater to your husband. I'm not saying that. I mean, I do that. I don't, okay. I love my husband. Okay. I don't know what y'all be doing, but I love my king shit. I will drop everything. Now I don't give a fuck. I will go. Now, all I'm saying is that you got to learn how to love him. You got to learn how to be, how can I say this? Because I'm trying to get it together. You got to understand that you and him are the same. If you want someone to love you, you gotta love him too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta love him too. You gotta give. As much as he give, you gotta give back. I don't condone cheating. I do not condone cheating. I do not. But it only happens when you not fucking this man right. If you not treating him well, no, Anissa. If you ain't fucking this man, this is when cheating happens. Because let me share something with you. He can't be fucking you and then going outside and fucking everybody else. It's not like that. I know some of y'all women don't want to hear this, but it's true. It's something I remember my first husband said to me, and I'm a drop after this. My first husband said to me, a man need a wife, a house. He need a hoe and a housewife. That's what he said. He said, I need a hoe and a housewife. So when women learn, even if you Christian, okay, and I'm saying this to my Christian sisters too, even if that you Christian, learn how to be a hoe for your husband.
Yes!
Y'all miss that part. And then if you don't know how to do this thing and he starts seeking outside attention, now it's woe is me. He did me wrong. He's cheated on me. But we're going to talk about how 30 days out of a month that you only screwed him twice. We're going to talk about that.
Uh-oh.
I'm done.
Take heat. Take heat. You're a troublemaker, and I love it. I
Look,
love that because
CMU, let me go next, please.
Come on, yeah, go ahead.
Because listen, I just want to co-sign a little bit because I'm not going to be that explicit. But my wife could tell tell the difference between me saying, "Hey, hon, come here," and "Hey, hon, come here."
Come
you know
on.
what I'm saying? She can tell the difference. And you know what? She always comes. She always comes. You know,
Literally.
all through our marriage, she says, "You know
Literally
what?
or figuratively?
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying. You know, and sometimes I leave her ass hanging. You know, that's the way it is. You know, so sometimes I leave her. I gotta admit it. But no, what I'm saying is that
He
if
didn't
you
have
have a
his
woman,
ginseng.
the real point is that throughout whole marriage, she's always been accommodating. Always. Just always. And then I know how to be judicious with that power. I know how to be judicious with that power. Because she never ever turns me down. And if she's not capable, I always tell her, listen, it's always the angry hand job. Always, you know, you don't want to do nothing, you know, just give me the angry hand job, and you know, and then I'll make it up to you later on. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
she just up in that mother just.
We don't
Exactly.
we don't need this. We don't
It's just like that.
demonstration, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So all I'm just trying to say, if you married, you know, take heed is, you know, she's telling you the truth. If you don't have that kind of communication with your loved one, man, where your love making is not transactional, it's just part of what y'all do as a married couple, then you got some issues. You got some issues.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll just land it there. But
May I
as far
go?
as so what?
May I go?
Yes.
No, let me just finish. Well, let me just finish this.
Okay.
About Charleston White, I don't agree with his point about the man needing a woman to validate him. No, I didn't need my wife to do that shit for me. I didn't. So that first part of what he says, I don't agree with. I hear where he's coming from a little bit, but I don't agree with that kind of stuff. That, you know, I don't. I just don't. You know, and there's some more stuff he said, but he said a lot of shit there. And I think half of the shit he said was just to beat down the damn lesbian he was talking to. You know, so anyway, I'll land it there.
Can I say this real quick before y'all say something?
Can you play it again? Because I lost focus, bro.
Yeah,
I know what he said.
You know, when you say when you talk,
We need a
validation,
refresher.
yeah, when you talk validation, I will say this, and I know everybody's not spiritual, so I'm not pulling everybody into that boat. You can stay out with the sharks. However, biblically, you see how much influence women had on men in the Bible. If you, oh my God,
We're talking about Samson, and Delilah.
there was a lot of women in the Bible who
that wasn't influence. No, it wasn't.
When it came to Samson,
nope.
Yeah, well, I'll say we won't get to that in a minute, Mr. Bennett. But I think that other than that, I think back, not even back then, even now, a woman can influence a man can tell a woman, no, I would not go over there and steal from my brother. And she pull him in and whip that thing on his ass real good and whisper in his ear, what are you doing now? Yes. Men to portray their families, their brother, vagina is powerful. It is. It has started wars. A lot of men have died behind it. They still die behind it to this day.
It killed Napoleon.
Yeah, man. So, but you know, go ahead, Lost in Translation. You were about to say something, my brother?
You know what? To speak to what Charleston White said, Charleston White is what's known as a Chinese finger trap. You know what I'm saying? Let me explain to you what it is. Charleston White is a freaking genius, and I'm gonna explain to you what he did. I'm gonna explain to you what it is. Here's my thing. He used an analogy that is, if you're not, I put it to like this: if you're not knowledgeable of what he's doing, it could sound like it's crazy. But if you've been around the block a few times, you understand what he's saying is genius. Number one, let me break it down to you. Women love to say that behind every great man, there's a great woman, and they like to take credit for that. Okay, but they never take credit for the piece of shit man that they fertilized. You know what I'm saying? They never do that. So my thing is this: you have to make sure that you take credit for the good and the bad. If you sit there and you talk to your man like you got some sense, and he goes out and he does great things, you can take the credit for that because you had some influence. You know what I'm saying? Also, at the same time, if you talk bad to your man and you influence him negatively, he can't focus on what he needs to do. He's too busy worrying about his survival. You should also take credit for that too. So When the reason why he said it that way, it was to set them up because he knows that women like to take credit for all the good stuff and none of the bad. So that's the reason why he set it up that way. That's the reason why it's genius. You see what I'm saying? Anybody who's ever been a farmer knows is if you plant a seed and you don't fertilize it, it is not going to grow. If you plant seed, that's the reason why he used planting a rose in the concrete. You can plant a rose in the concrete, but you still got to give it sunlight. You still got to give it nutrition no matter where it is. You see what I'm saying? That's the genius of what he said. But people got too busy in their feelings because A, they didn't like him because he was a black man, an intelligent black man that speaks unapologetically. You see what I'm saying? Then they tried to discount what he was saying because he looks a little rough. But if you dig deep down inside and if you listen to what he said, he is a genius, because you can't walk into a situation and sit up there and say, yes, I'm going to take credit for all his successes, and no, I'm not going to take credit for any of his failures. And I think that is the genius of Charleston White.
And let me say this before the ladies get in here. Also, lost in translation, to add to your farmer regimen, I'm at your farm right now, I'm finna plant something. It doesn't, even if you get good ground, get growing fertile ground, no matter what you plant, it's gonna grow. I can go plant poison ivy and I can go plant cactus. It's gonna grow. If I plant cactus, if that's gonna grow. If I grow roses, if I plant roses, the roses are gonna grow. So either way it go, you can plant something. But no matter what you plant, it's gonna grow. All right, Jamie, what are your thoughts? And then we'll get to Trey has some pushback, but we're good with Jamie. Jamie, what are your thoughts, sweetheart?
Are we not gonna play it back though? I felt like there's a part in the beginning that he said that I don't think we honed on in about men not being able to love, I think.
Okay, here we go.
Definition of love. Love is not what you can give. It's about what you can take. Our mothers took a lot. It ain't about what you can give. It's about what you can take.
You're saying how much you endure.
Don't y'all put nothing on it but what I said. You figure it out. Because each person has to define love according to their life experiences, not what I'm saying. Men are incapable till somebody teaches. And who teaches? A good woman. Not the fucked up woman, a good woman. A woman who play like she believe your lies when she know you lying. A woman who forgive you when she keep catching you cheating. A woman who breathe life into you when she know you sorry. She teach you how to love by her actions. At some point, the guilt and shame that a man feels for being a piece of shit ass man will start to make this road grow out that country. But it's the environment. Every human is capable of becoming good, even if they bad. And I believe that with all my.
Now, he said.
That's what I wanted to. He said that a woman teaches him that, like a man, that he can, like, teaches a man to love based on what she's able to endure in the relationship.
That's not what he said.
I mean,
No, not what she can endure. No.
This is my definition of love. Love is not what you can give. It's about what you can take. Our mothers took a lot. It ain't about what you can give. It's about what you can take.
You're saying how much you endure.
Don't y'all put nothing on it but what I said. You figure it out. Because each person has to define love according to their life experiences, not what I'm saying. Men are incapable till somebody teaches. And who teaches? A good woman. Not the fucked up woman, a good woman. A woman who play like she believe your lies when she know you lying. A woman who forgive you when she keep catching you cheating. A woman who breathe life into you when she know you sorry. She teach you how to love by her actions. At some point, the guilt and shame that a man feels for being a piece of shit ass man will start to make this road grow out that country. But it's the environment. Every human is capable of becoming good, even if they bad. And I believe that with all my.
I mean, that's what he said.
Is that what he said, or is that what you heard?
No. If that's her interpretation, when my time comes, I break it down.
Wait. I want to, because that's what I heard. I heard the same thing twice in the same area. My question.
I heard it too.
Okay, so if we're not hearing it right, what does that mean in language? Because see, there's a way that a woman interprets a thing, and there's a way that a man is saying that this is the way we should interpret it. So you help me understand what he means by that, because he said don't put nothing on him than what he said, and he defined it's like if a woman taking the man back when he cheats, or accepting the lies when she know he lying and all of that type of stuff. So I'm just trying to get a clear understanding because I heard what he said. I am only interpreting based on what Charleston said, right? So what am I missing?
Get out for yourself.
It sounds like, hold on, I'm gonna let JT cook on this one, but it sounds like to me. Let me say this. Then we'll go up to JT. All right. It sounds like to me.
I never got to respond, BMU, but go ahead.
Okay.
We got you
I'm
in this.
gonna let you respond, baby. I'm gonna let you respond. Let me tell you what it sounds like. Take Heed has sons. I have sons. All right. We are Mr. Ben got daughters, but I particularly want to stick with the boys here. My son can walk through this house and break a damn lamp or break something important. Or he can go to school and make a mistake, do something, get into a fight, get into an argument, do something stupid that's disappointing to mama. I've seen my wife love him in spite of him.
Come on now.
I've seen her love him when he broke something, love him when he said the wrong thing, loved him when he did the wrong thing, loved him when he needed to be disciplined. Through discipline, after discipline, I've seen her discipline him, and then after she disciplined him, she said, I love you. I care for, I love you. Come here, baby. This is why I did what I did. Come have a conversation with mama. But then
is that what he means, though? Is that what he's talking about?
But what if wives love their husbands like they love their sons? JT, go ahead.
Well, wait, I wasn't finished. I was trying to get a protection of what Charleston meant.
Anissa was supposed to go.
Yeah, Anissa right after Jamie. Great.
Yeah, no, I don't see a problem with Charleston said. I do agree that a woman should love in spite of, right? Which actually I've done it. Okay, because I'm a boy mom. So and also I was raised differently. Like my mom, is not from here. She's from Belize. And so that like lovey-dovey nurturing mom situation that everybody probably got, I didn't get. What I got from my mom was she worked really hard, and that's the way she interpreted love. She made sure we were okay, and we should know that she loved us because we were okay. Okay. So as far as like the learning how to nurture and stuff like that, I had to read my Bible and pray about that when I had my kid to even embrace that nurturing side, because I didn't get that. I got a mom that worked and provided and did what she did, and she was married. I just want to say that too. So she was married and still responsible for things. So my grow up, my environment, as Charleston said, was different. Right. So when I had my son, I made a conscious choice that I wanted to nurture my son. I wanted to be able to sow into my son so he doesn't go out here and find a woman or a lady of the night to do something that I should have done at home. I should have filled this tank so that he knows how to pick the right woman and not pick, a woman that doesn't know how to invest in him and to understand that he has a vision and a goal that God created him for, and that she is supposed to help him meet that. Right. And so that's all I got to say. So yes, I do understand. I agree with that, because right now, as a mother who is raising a husband, right? I'm raising him to be somebody's husband. So like there's things that I know men do that he does innately. He does it. And I'm like, hey, son, maybe you should ask this type of question, because when you get married, that might put you in the doghouse if the woman's not raised right, right? So I have to be concerned about these young women being raised wrong, and my son being emotionally mature, where he's able to say, hey, I'm having a bad day. I need 15 minutes. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, because if you tell me now, you're going to get the wrong response. That's the type of house we have here. You get what I'm saying? So that's not the way everybody else is raised. So, I mean, but anyway.
I don't think a woman can raise a boy to be a husband. I had to push back on that.
I didn't ask you to think. This is the situation that I'm in. So I'm just telling you, I'm doing the best that I can. Now, I said, I didn't ask you to think, though. I'm just being real. I didn't ask you to think. I mean, I hear men say that all the time, but I don't have any viable, real men with character to have around my son that is going to give him any value as a man. If you want me to be completely honest, are you going to do it? Do you want to mentor my child? I'm just being honest. I want to know, because a lot of times what happens is men say that, and then you don't give me an option for that to happen, right?
Yeah, where do you live? Where do you live?
I live in Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. I can video call him every day. I just feel like that women don't have the quality that it takes to raise a man. Not anything offensive. I just think there's things that men go through that women just cannot understand and cannot teach.
Right. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that when men say that, it's like, okay, well, are you going to give an option for the woman so that her son can have a man of character that's willing to instill a time for that? Because his father, I'm going to be honest, I've given him all kinds of options. My son has his own phone. He has his own access to his own son, and he chooses not to, right? That's a viable choice that his father has done, not that I've stopped him or what the typical woman has done. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've given all kinds of options.
And this is why it's important, and this is no offense to you, this is just a general statement, is that it goes back to, and I know we all make mistakes and we all have been in situations like this before, but the married before we carry scenario should always be in play, because the young men out here right now that don't have fathers, we have to put accountability where accountability goes.
Wait, I'm not taking, you got to see, you have to ask. I made a choice to lay down a man that I didn't know. I got pregnant with him, and then I made a choice to be a single mom because I didn't believe in abortions. So I've taken accountability. My whole thing is
if you're taking accountability, why are you asking for somebody else to do the job that the man you slept with?
But I'm not asking. I'm not asking. You just told me.
You said if a person is giving you advice, they should also offer you an option. That's what you said.
I said there should be an option. Don't just you're trying to critique me, but you're not giving an option.
Well, man, you shared your story. Nobody asked you to share your story. If you share your story on a panel, it's up for critique. Everybody knows that.
That's fine, but so here we go. What are you trying to get at? Like, give me what you're trying to get at.
Ma'am, you shared the story. You shared a personal story. Nobody asked you for that personal story. Everybody who comes on these panels knows that if you decide to share something personal, it's up for critique. Somebody is going to say something about it.
No, you said I should have asked for a viable solution to a problem. That's a problem.
You can ask for anything, but let me ask you this question. Do you think that the way that you retorted would make a man want to help you? Because the way you said it, I would never want to help a woman whose response would be that way.
What was my
what way are you talking about? The male leadership, not mine. So I think that after what Black Man said, what he said, your response was extremely defensive and damn near disrespectful.
My response to what part, though? I'm trying to figure out when he said that he didn't think that a woman could raise a husband.
Your guard, you did just like this.
Well, I said it was disrespectful, but I thought I didn't ask for anybody to think about it. I'm just telling you that I don't have a solution to that problem. I think I hear the same from panels, from people, from different men. It's the same response. And so what I'm saying is, we know that there's a problem. We know that there's people and that do take accountability for their actions and understand what they have done. Are we going to keep talking in circles and saying who's wrong, who's right? Or are we as a community going to say, okay, like, how do we fix the current problem and how do we make sure the problem doesn't happen anymore? That's my thing. I'm trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep going in circles, or are we going to start doing the right thing?
The solution, real quick, JT, the solution to the problem is men and women both need to choose when they're out in the world. They need to choose morals and values over mattresses and motels.
So the thing is see, when you're looking for this was what was crazy. When you're looking for a solution, when you was about to get some enlightenment, you interrupted the enlightenment because you started holding up your guards, and he wasn't speaking. That's why he had to preference it where this is not to you. Got to remember, we're on a panel. We have people listening to us. So we're talking to each other through each other to the audience also. So when he's saying this is why no other woman, well, Anissa probably would have, but she's been on this panel for a minute, but no other woman actually spoke up when he said that this is why a woman couldn't raise a man to be a boy to be a man, because we hear these already and we understand, we are enlightened why he's saying it. This is no joke. This is not to you. It may come to you like that because, I mean, it is what it is. If it fits your, and it, you know, what's going on with you, then that's just what it is. However, on here, we have to be able, because we talk to each other kind of straightforward, and nobody's over here is talking to you, leading with our judgment. We're talking, we have these conversations all the time. So when it comes down to it, like what Trey was just saying, once you put a part of your life out there, it is up for critique. It is up for critique. Each and every one of us has been a little vulnerable on this panel before. And each and every one of us has had critique.
Okay, the problem isn't the critique. Okay, my problem is I'm asking what. Now he just said the solution is to pick, not to pick what, beds and.
No, I said pick morals and values over mattresses and motels.
Okay, all right. So we know that is the critique. It's too late, right? So I'm saying, what do we do now? Because it's not that I'm the only person that I'm the only person that's a single mom. Right? There's some single moms now that have been married and they are now single moms. So then what happens to these kids whose men are no longer in the home? I'm asking, what is the solution? What can we do as a community to actually do something?
So let me tell you something. Let me help you. This is what I do. Everybody on this panel knows what I do. I mentor young men all the time. I coach football, coach basketball, have boys over to the house. I mentor young men all the time. That's what I do. A lot of them. I used to have an intro to this show that shows all the work that I do in the community with these young men. So if you would like your son to have a mentor, I'd love to meet him and talk with him. How old is he?
He's 16. Okay, how am I supposed to? I guess my question is, how am I supposed to know that? I didn't look anybody up, so I don't do that. You invited me, and I said just come, so I don't know what anybody does on the panel. So I'm saying, as a community, you're saying we're talking in general, we're talking to people, right? You said that I put my life in this thing, right? But we're still we're a panel, and we're talking to people, right? So as a community, what do we do? I know that you mentor, but is that something that everybody should do? Because there's some people that say, oh, it's your problem, you did that to yourself, right? I'm just being real. It's your problem, you did it to yourself. What did he say? Why should you expect somebody to invest in your son? What did you say, Mr. Trey Taylor, sir? What did you say?
How can you
said something? You said something.
I know what he said. He said,
I know what I'm going to say. I'm just waiting.
He said, how do you expect somebody to invest in your child when you put up a defensive mechanism that almost is disrespectful to a man? So if a man wants to help your child and you be like, well, you ain't got to, a man will be like, he gonna be reluctant. I don't really want to, the mama kind of, and as of being a mentor myself out here in these streets, a lot of the times when you pull away from these young boys, it's because of their mama. Right? You'll go and mentor these young men, and they don't you say nothing to my son like that no more. Don't you try to handle my son. Don't you talk to him like that. So you get a lot of pushback from a lot of mamas, and then when they get locked up, which I've had this before, young men get arrested for stealing in a store. She calling me, can you please go to the jail and talk to them people? Ma'am, I tried to talk to your son 6 months ago, and you told me don't talk to him hard. Don't be hard on him. So what do you want me to do?
Can I ask a question?
Well, go ahead, Trey. We
Why
gotta get
is it that? Well, go ahead, Anissa. I'll
go
wait.
ahead, Anissa. Go ahead, Anissa.
Go ahead, Trey, and finish your thoughts, since that's what y'all are talking about.
Okay.
How does this become a community problem? That's where I get confused at. This has somehow become, well, how can we fix the community now? Does anybody here know how a team works? You know how teams work? A team works well because everybody does their individual job. They do what they're supposed to do. And then the team works cohesively together.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have women who have these boys and the dad ain't shit, and he ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing, and I'm a product of that. I've never met my dad. So I'm a part of this. He ain't shit. I don't become the community's problem. We become to put weight on the community that they didn't. And there's a saying, right, that you don't take care of children you didn't make. And I don't understand it. I see this a lot from women. It's like, all right, well, what do we do now? What's done is done, basically. What's done is done. What do we do now? I don't know what to tell you what to do now. I'm mentor too every Monday, teaching kids about stocks. But I'm not responsible for these kids. Black man's not responsible. He has his own family. He's not responsible. So I don't understand how this becomes a community problem. This is an individual issue. It's between you, the father of that boy, and your son. And if you can't get the father to get involved, we can't just throw it on the community all of a sudden. This is that Dr. Umar nonsense, that BSO, just step up and help take care of somebody else's kid because, well, somewhere along the line, you probably screwed a black woman over at one point in time in your life. No.
You can stop it.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's fair. Over 50% of black men in the community are single and childless. I don't think it's fair to them that all of a sudden we make this a community issue. It's not a community issue.
But that's why it becomes circular, because no one speaks that direct. So that's what we're talking about. That's why when it came down, that's why I kept saying, play the video again, because what that man really said, it really was significant. But I'm awake because we got to play it again, Lost Black Man, after Anissa go, because she about to tear this shit all the way up. Yeah. And I want to get to that point because we had a show and that spoke to that show that we did.
Yeah.
So I'd rather, let Anissa go ahead and do hers. And
go ahead, Anissa. We're going to let her
look
tear
at
it
her.
back down. We're going to let Miss Jenny build it back up in the almond house, put the roof on it.
Yes.
Go ahead. You muted. Sign from the Lord.
I'm back. So this is what I took from what Charleston White said. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I heard. That a good woman can take an ain't shit man who lies to her, who cheats on her, and she continues to take him back, who's sorry, but she can speak life into him. And she can make him into a good man. She can teach him how to. That's what I heard because that's what he said. So maybe that's the difference between men and women.
You remixed the shit out of that.
But that's exactly what he said.
Let her cook.
I'm taking, like he said exactly as the young lady said before me. He said, don't add anything to what I'm saying. And he broke it down. A good woman can take a man who lies to her and she knows he's lying, who cheats on her, but she continues to take him back, who she knows is sorry, but she can pour into him and she can teach him how to love and all of that. And my only pushback on that, if I'm a good woman and I know that my worth, why am I picking an ain't shit nigga? Lost in Translation gave a whole soliloquy on that earlier today about women, you need to pick better. And women, you shouldn't be picking a man like that. And you shouldn't be choosing a man like that. So if I am a good woman and I come to the table as a wife, why in the world am I picking an ain't shit nigga and I got to teach him how to love and how to do all of it? That's a bunch of mess. It's bull, and I totally reject everything that he said. I'm not finished. I'm not finished.
Anissa, that's the most logical thing I've ever heard you say.
Let her cook. Let her cook. Let her cook.
Hold on. And as far as what Take Heed said, I understand where you're coming from, Take Heed, but I don't think you I don't think that's a complete thought that you have, because there are plenty of women out here that are good women and that are giving their husbands everything that they need, and the husbands still cheat. I would direct you to watch Terry Crews. He was on Club Shay Shay, and he talked about his wife. And he talked about the fact that his wife was there from him from day one when he had absolutely nothing. He took her through all of his dreams, trying to play football and trying to do this, and they had absolutely nothing. They were penniless. They were struggling, and she stayed with that man, and she stayed with that man, and she struggled with that man. And he says on there, and I cheated on her. He said, I had a good woman, and I cheated on her. And he said, and he had to come to the realization that it wasn't about her, that it was about him. He had to ask himself. He used to say, well, why don't you believe what I'm saying? And he said he had to come to the realization. He had to ask, well, why am I lying to my wife? So,
Anissa.
How can we switch to? I don't understand that.
No. Take let her finish. Let her finish. Let
I
her
wanted to
finish.
address what Take Heed said, that there are absolutely men out here. There are absolutely men out here that will cheat on their wives, and they're getting everything at home. So you can't say that if a man is cheating, it's because he's not getting. And Trey addressed that earlier. So I'm just going all the way back because I'm finally getting a chance.
Go by Trey. Trey never been married before. I don't understand that.
But Trey is a man.
Let her cook.
Trey is
Y'all
a
don't
man.
understand. Anissa is cooking.
Trey is a
Let
man.
her cook.
Oh my God.
Keep going, Nissa. Keep going. Keep going.
Keep
Keep
let me ask you a
going.
question. Are you saying that?
Never been married before. I'm not going with him. No.
But take heed. Are you saying that wives who are good wives don't get cheated on?
No, I'm not saying.
Are you saying that wives that do everything sexually that their husbands ask for don't get cheated on?
I'm going to share something with you.
That's the lie.
No. Wait a minute.
Come on, Take Heed. You ain't got to do it. It's a direct question. Are you saying that? It's a direct question. Are men who are in marriages?
Come on, y'all. Order in the court.
Who fulfill their sexual desires? Do those women still get cheated on?
Check this out. In a marriage, no, because Trey, the problem.
It's a yes or no question. Take heed.
Can you let me? Can I land? Okay, thank you. So now, in a marriage, if there's a cheating moment in a marriage, there's something wrong on both parts. If you are talking to this man, if you are being affectionate with this man, if you and this man are one, okay? And if you are making love like you're supposed to, cheating will not come into play. Y'all missing that part. And both of y'all is not married. Y'all don't understand what marriage is.
It doesn't matter.
I think you have a utopian, fantastical mind. The fact of the matter is that men. Here's the thing. This is what you're missing. You're missing testosterone. You're missing the male libido. You're missing the opportunity and the options of other women that are out there. The fact of the matter is that unless you've been in a man's body, I have all my friends are married. They're all married. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that. They're all married. I had to catch myself. I almost said something. I forgot I was on the screen. They're all married, and they have good women. We have traveled. We have gone places. We have done things.
Where you going with that?
Yeah. You know where I'm going with this, JT. Yeah. The fact of the matter is that and women, no disrespect to Tahid, I have an abundance of reverence and respect for Tahid, but this not your lane on this one. I'm sorry. As a man, I'm trying to tell you women this. You have to listen to a man when I tell you. You can be the baddest. You can be the sexiest. You can make my toes curl. You can do all the nasty, freakiest things in the world. If he wants to cheat on you, he's going to cheat on you. The only thing that stops a man from having sex with another woman is that man. That is it. You can't cook good enough. You can't clean good enough. No. You can't be as small as you can. You cannot have as much sex with them. No. The only thing that will stop a man from having sex with other women outside of his marriage and or relationship is him. No. Take that to the bank, ladies. I don't care what nobody else will say. Take it to the bank. That is the
I believe you, Trey.
No, she only believes you because you co-signing her ish.
No, Take Heed. Go listen to that.
Y'all letting her off the. Y'all letting Alyssa off the hook.
Listen.
To the person that argued with Trey earlier, I'm gonna have to go with what he said. As a person that just got finished, you know.
No. I only want married people to answer this question.
It has nothing to do with being married.
Because you only understand when you marry.
And,
So are you saying Terry Crews is lying?
Anissa,
Are
let me
you
ask you.
saying Terry? Hold on. Are you saying Terry Crews is lying about the fact that he cheated on his wife?
Terry Crews is Hollywood.
He's a man.
No. Let's get back to Terry Crews.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. JT.
Let's get back to Terry Crews.
Anissa, let me ask you a question, Anissa. I got a question for you.
Okay.
Me and JT connected on this immediately a few minutes ago. You said this woman was there for him. She was there for him. She was there for him. There was penniless. There was penniless. He wanted his dreams. He was penniless. He was there for him, and he still cheated. Ain't that the same woman that Charleston White is
just
describing in the video?
Let me clarify that statement. That is what that woman chose to do.
No. You said you disagreed. Hold on. Can I please say this? First and foremost,
I am a good woman, and I'm not gonna take an ancient nigga.
I'm gonna speak to your point, Anissa.
Anissa,
I'm going to speak to your point.
Order in the court.
She married that man, understanding what it was.
That's not the point,
and that's
Anissa.
what she chose to do. My point was, even though she did all of that, he still cheated on her.
No, but you stood on the point that you initially made with that point. That's what I'm about to get you on. What you said was,
don't get me on nothing. What I'm saying is,
what you
I
said
reject
was,
what he said.
What you said was,
if you're a good woman and you know your worth,
everything.
You won't accept that.
So you
don't
keep
have
down. So listen,
simmer
this
down,
is what I'm
simmer
gonna
down.
get
Order
you
in the
on.
court.
Hold on. This is what I'm gonna get you on. Like I said, you were sitting back on the point where we was watching a video of Charleston White. You were speaking against what he was saying when he said a woman teaches a man how to love. When she goes out there and she takes all the bullshit, right? All the shit that comes out there and she cheat on him and she takes his disrespect. What he was saying was he never said that the woman stayed with him. He said the man learned love through that woman, first and foremost. Secondly, that's why when you started listening with your own emotions, when you said, I don't agree with what he was saying, because what he's saying is the women stay with him and the women this and that. Then you brought up a point to make. Hold on. Then you brought up a point, Anissa.
Let him finish.
Then
Anissa.
you brought up a point to further say what you were saying, correct? You were sitting back and you brought up who? Terry fucking Crews. And what you said was his wife had to take all of him being broke, his ass, because I know his story. He's right here. He used to live here in Michigan. I know Terry Crews' story. And then after all of the shit that she was taking along with that, to put it on there, he cheated. Now, this is my question to you. When did they get a divorce?
Oh my God.
Okay, let me clarify it for you.
After he got on?
I was making two separate points.
After he started getting that paper?
I was making two separate points with that. I do not agree with what Charleston White said. I do not think if you're a good woman, you have to accept an ain't shit man and go through all of it. Now, if I'm not finished. If you choose to do that as a good woman, then that is your choice.
Okay.
But my opinion about that is I don't think a good woman who knows her worth has to accept an ain't shit nigga. That is what I said compared to that.
Why did you use the Terry Crews story though? That don't make any sense. You should have had something to counter that.
Can I finish? As far as what Take Heed was saying, specifically, she said that if a man is getting everything he needs at home, that man will not cheat. My only example about Terry Crews was he had a woman that was, he said out of his own mouth, that was doing everything for him, and he still cheated on her. That was my only point about Terry.
Anissa, you don't see the contradiction, Anissa?
Wait.
I'm not saying that I agree with that. I'm just pointing out what Terry Crews said. I'm a good woman, and I'm not gonna pick an ain't shit man.
Anissa.
I'm not gonna choose that.
Anissa,
doesn't a man
want to go through so you can prove that you can take the struggle and all of that, then that's your choice as a woman. But
Anissa, who determines that you're a good woman?
Anissa,
Who determines that you're a good woman, Anissa?
I determine that. I determine
and there it is.
There it is.
Stop, Trey.
I determine that I don't have to choose that because I know my worth.
So you got cheater-proof pussy.
Hold on a second. Before we move, hold on a second.
Listen. I am not going to choose a man that will treat me in that manner and feel like I got to pull up with everything my grandmama and my great-grandmamas went through, and I got to go through all of this mess so that I can prove that I'm a good woman to somebody. That's a bunch of bull.
Anissa, let me finish. Listen, listen, y'all. Listen, I'm being polite. I'm being polite. I can turn your mics off.
Go ahead,
I can be polite. I'm trying to be polite now.
Come on, Loss. Come on down.
What you're missing, Anissa, is at the end, he said that man felt convicted. We would have never have known Terry Crews cheated if he hadn't said anything. And the only reason why he said it was because he was convicted. And that is exactly what Charleston White said. He said his woman learned love. He said he learned love through accepting what his wife was giving. Sometimes men don't go to church. And sometimes our only example of love is ourselves. And I will give you an example. What she displayed was love. It says love is patient. Was she not patient?
Come on.
It says love is kind. Was she not kind? It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. You never heard her go outside and say, my man ain't nothing. She continued to let him shine in spite of his downfall and his iniquities. Love does not dishonor others. It does not self-seek. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Here's my thing. Listen,
that first video that we saw earlier today.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Come on, Loss.
That ties right. Listen. Anissa.
You're right.
What Charleston White said.
But does a woman not have a right in the man? You can choose an ain't shit man, or you can choose you a good man.
Let me finish. It speaks to what I said earlier. What Charleston White said was true, even though it came from his mouth. It was biblically sound. And I just read it from the Bible. And that's the reason why sometimes your woman is the closest thing to God that you have as a man. So even in our falling short of the glory of God, God still gives us grace. You see what I'm saying? I don't always do everything right. Everything that comes out of my mouth ain't always right. The other day, I was just on Humble Dad's podcast, and I had to check myself on some things. God was like, you will not disrespect women. And I said, yes, sir. So every time when I talk to a woman, I'm going to make sure I speak highly of her, even though she may be wrong. But I'm going to make sure that I do my best to honor her, because I'm probably the closest thing next to God that she'll experience. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to be kind, and I'm trying to be loving. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to explain to you what Charleston White said is genius. Even if you pick a man who you assumes he's going to be perfect, he's not going to cheat on you, we all fall short. That is where you, as a Christian woman, should give him grace, because others in your marriage, it's like, say, for your husband, he's going to be patient with you as well, too. You see what I'm saying? He's not going to expect you to be perfect. You know, even when your hair turns gray and you still put on a little weight, he's still going to love you no matter what. So my thing is this, and this, I understand what you're saying, because sometimes our own cognitive dissonance gets in our way from listening. But if you go back, black man, and if you go back and play that, is that not what Charleston White just described?
He described what love is. And you know
Did
what?
He not do that?
Lost. Let me
He
say
just
this.
put it in a hood way. But here's the thing: just because you pick somebody and they fell short, doesn't mean that they're not worthy of redemption. Because I'm a firm believer that even if you fall down, yes, you deserve to be picked back up. We all do. We go through these things. You see what I'm saying? There are things that women do that men don't appreciate. but we still overlook it sometimes. And sometimes when you change up on us and say, hey, I want a divorce to 70% of the clip, we still love you. We don't want to see you leave because we're the ones who asked you to marry us. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is this: we want to make sure that we demonstrate love in places and be an example of love. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I understand where you're coming from, because when you see things and you've experienced things, we attach our emotions to what we experience to validate what we're feeling. But if we take a step back and we look and we see and we listen intently, hold it up to the light of the word for verification. Don't take nobody else's word for it. That's the reason why I pull from the Bible, so you can go back and see it. And you'll see that her actions did line up with a good woman. And the results was exactly what Charleston White said. It convicted Terry Crews. It convicted him to do right. And that is the purpose of grace.
Lost, let me tell you this real quick, and I'm going to let Jamie cook. When we have women that say, I'm Christian, I believe in the Lord, he's my savior, he's my everything. I think what we're running into is that women believe in God, but they don't believe God. Let me say it again. They believe in God, but they don't believe God, because what they believe in the entity of God, the spirit of God, but they don't believe in what he say. When you just read that love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast. When a woman actually loves her husband in that way, other women will call her stupid.
Right.
You dumbass female, you stupid for being there for that man. Why would you do that? And these are women that sit in church every Sunday. Oh, talking in tongues every Sunday. But they believe in God, but they don't believe what the word of God says. Now, when you do this type of love that my brother just lost in translation just said, and you define it, then when you go down a few more scriptures, it says God is, finish it for me, Lost. God is love. So if God is love, and this is defined what love is, and a woman is loving her husband in this way, then she's foolish to follow the Father who created love and gave the definition of what love was. I'm going to leave it alone.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Well, just make sure that when you love,
we're not getting all this information on her.
women. So you all are saying that you would stay with a woman that continued to cheat on you, even though, and you continue to take her back. You will accept.
Man, y'all gonna stay anyway. We cheat. Get over it. Move on.
No, don't say y'all gonna stay anyway. I'm not in that number, sweetheart.
Over it.
Anissa,
I'm not in that number. Maybe some other people are.
Anissa, let me explain something to you.
Just because you don't know about it, Anissa, don't mean it ain't happening.
Yeah, you better make sure I don't know. How about that?
Anissa, let me explain something to you.
For some of y'all,
All that head shaking,
you know
this idea
all that head shaking.
You better make sure I don't know.
Men are gonna do what men gonna do, and
Anissa,
you gonna be fine with it.
You better make sure I don't know.
Guess what? You know what's funny? When you're 85 years old, Anissa, when you're 85 years old, nobody's gonna ask you when your man was cheating on you back in your 50s. Nobody's gonna give a damn. You know the only thing that's gonna matter is both of y'all are breathing. That's the only thing you're gonna care about. You guys give too much attention. Hang on, Anissa. Hang on, Anissa, stop. You guys give too much attention to shit that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the long run. What is the point of this? What is the point of getting married if the end goal isn't death? You guys worry about all this other stuff. The goal is death. Till death do us part.
We will just
That's
agree
the goal.
to disagree.
So
We will agree
about all this other crap, all this other nonsense, instead of keeping your eye focused on what the actual goal is supposed to be.
Okay.
This is why I can't do this, black man. These women are fragile out here, bruh.
Come on.
No woman has to be fragile and put up with y'all bullshit.
Thing will break them. Oh, he looked at a girl. Oh, you like the picture. Oh,
nobody cares
everything will
about
break
that,
them. They
Trey.
are fragile. They can't.
No.
You gotta hold. This is how you gotta hold them. Modern women. This is how you gotta hold them. You gotta hold them like this, because if you show them anything outside of that, they will fall apart. And here's the problem: modern women are like glass. As soon as that glass breaks, you can never repair. You can glue it back together all you want, but it will never be the same. She is broken. And then she takes all the other nonsense that happened back in her past, she brings into her future. KS used to say this all the time. Blaming the men of your present for the things that happened in your past ensures no future. He used to say that all the time.
That's what he said.
Oh, baby. You guys got to stop with this. You guys got to stop with this. And these, it doesn't matter. I'm not condoning cheating. I'm not condoning it at all. But I understand men because I'm a man. And I get it that variety is a lot of the times what we want. The fact of the matter, Anissa, tomorrow morning, you are not going to be a 5-foot Asian woman with a fat ass. It ain't happening. And he may wake up.
And you're saying women
he
have,
may wake up.
have to
He may
accept
wake
it.
up, and that might be what he wants that day. You
And we should be
cannot
okay
fulfill
with
that. You cannot fulfill that. The problem is that you have
And
an
we have to be
overinflated
okay
sense of
with
self-worth. You
Is that
think
what
that
you're
you can
saying?
fulfill a man and satisfy a man on your own, and I'm here to tell you, women, you can't do it. Stop trying. Men aren't wired that way. Now, what happens is that you get men in these relationships who will say, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to live a certain way. I'm going to do this the right way." It's all on him. It ain't got shit to do with you. Mr. Bennett lives his life because Mr. Bennett wants to do it that way. The beauty of it is that everything that a man does correctly, it trickles down.
Yeah.
So as long as he's doing the things right at the top, everybody else is good. But this idea that y'all somehow have these powers, that pussy ain't no power. That shit is gone. That's the 60s. Ain't nobody fronting off y'all have every woman got the same thing. Same parts, same hearts. Y'all all got the same thing.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So if you say that men are just going to be men, he could wake up tomorrow, want this, next month he can want something else or whatever. So are you saying that we as women should just accept that this is what men do? We should accept cheating. We should accept exposing ourselves to STIs and all of that. We should accept all of these things because that's just a part of it. This is what men do. And if you're a strong woman, you'll just put up with all of this. And as long as you get to the end, is that what you're saying? That women should just accept it?
I'm gonna start calling her DJ.
Yes, to answer your question, yes. I am saying to you that you should identify what the goal is. And if the goal is to have a prosperous, constructive, successful marriage, then a lot of the shit that's happening in their 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s don't really matter. If that is the true nature.
Okay. And will you accept it in reverse?
That women in my age,
will you accept it in reverse?
Who cares? Men do it all the time. That's the reason why we got so many out of wedlock babies.
Of course not.
You know, 30% of these kids ain't even their daddies. So yeah, we do that.
But Anissa, cheating for men and women are different. It's not the same.
Okay.
And there was also something that was missing too.
You keep thinking we're the same. We're not the same.
Trey,
we're not wired the same. Not even on a molecular level. We're not the same.
Trey, my granddad said you can wipe dog shit off a water hose, but you can't get it from on the inside of it.
No, you just gonna have to.
You gonna have to
drink that shit.
You have to irrigate. That's.
Come on, granddaddy. He talking from heaven. Hey, you know what?
Can I say something? You know what? I'm so glad y'all had y'all little soliloquy.
Jamie wanted to say something. She's been waiting. Jamie, go ahead and get yours out. Preach to you.
I honestly think she asked the questions I was trying to get clarification. Like, what is the standard that men hold themselves to? Like, where are we getting these moral? Like, where's the neutral moral compass? Because I'm trying to just figure out, like, okay, at one moment it's like not all black men cheat. Then it's like, well, you better expect for a man. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, I'm actually kind of flabbergasted. I don't know.
Jamie,
yeah, you're really confused here.
Can I ask you?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No,
how old are you?
No, you're not. Well, I won't say all of you, but some of you men up here say you're godly men.
Show me a time in human history where men didn't cheat. Show me any time in human history where men didn't cheat. Anytime.
Hold on. I want to stay back to where Jamie was at.
Children, if I bring home a disease, you're a good woman. You just deal with it because you're a good woman.
Jamie,
Monique's husband told her she just had
I want to promote this mess to women that don't know this.
Anissa, you got all
both sides of your neck.
Can I ask Jamie, how old are you, Jamie?
I'm 38. 38.
Okay, 38. That's cool. So it is, that's what we need, because she asked the question. And the thing is that, fellas, we keep stirring the pot because we are already where we normally be at on the panel. The number one thing that we have to also understand is that we're talking about, for the most part, husband and wife. So we're not at the point where the relationship is there, right? So like with women, what is it in a man that you want, right? Is what we are normally be asking for, that would make that man a husband that you would be attracted to, right? That's what we would ask. And a lot of times women don't know. They will want a man that's loyal to them versus a man that has integrity. That's where we have a big problem. That man, as long as his ass is loyal to whatever the fuck you say to him, whatever the hell, and he can take your shit and go on and do his thing, you'll be cool with him. But as soon as that man break out of that and that man starts saying, no, this is what it is, and he start taking that shit from the reins, and he start telling you, listen, this is not how this is gonna go, because he wants you to follow him. Some men they were raised that way. Some men have to develop it while they're in the relationship with you, right? But by the time they get in a relationship with you, that integritous man, that man that is trying to get you to lead him, that man end up getting left. That's the problem that we ain't understanding. When what Charleston White was talking about was that what he learns from a woman, it didn't matter if she stayed with him or not. A lot of times the woman already done left the man. He has to try it with another woman. There was a show, I don't know, Mr. Bennett, if you remember, Driscoll. Remember Driscoll? Shout out to Driscoll. And what was it? Wife Values. What was his wife's name? Is it?
Oh, Family Values?
Family Values. 8 kids between the two of them. And they came on and he was talking about his relationship with his wife. And what he learned was through her. She ended up having to be a woman and do the things like she was pregnant, she was sick. It was a lot of things going on. But what her behavior did was it actually molded that man to actually be a full-fledged husband to her. When they were dating and all that, he was doing all the shit that he was doing while they were dating. But since they were married, they had to go through a lot of shit. I wish we can get that shit clipped. They had to go through a lot of shit. It was times where they were going to break up and all kind of shit. So they had to learn how to actually say, all right, this is what I am. But what he said, I learned how to actually be a full-fledged man for her because of what she did. She said she gave up all the working and all that shit. We had too many fucking kids. She gave up a lot of shit. And then she just looked at him and said, hey, look, I'm following you. That is not an easy thing for a man, for a woman to say. It scares a lot of fucking men, especially men that ain't never dealt with that. Where a woman say, all right, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to follow your lead. That's a lot of pressure on men. A lot of pressure. What happens is that you would get with the dude that is not worthy of your yoni. And you will let that man stick his seed in there and you will have a child by that man, which means that you gave him submissiveness. Am I lying? You gave him the ultimate submissiveness. We just talked about what it takes for a woman to have a man's child. You get cut open, your vagina gets spreaded out, and you also get sick, and you had a 35% rate of being going to dead, being dead. Why would you do that for a man that you don't love, respect, or honor? Right? This is what we talk about. This is the reason why we do it. It's the same thing with a man. Why would you be with a woman that talked to you the way that that woman talked to you? But we do. A lot of people think we just be banging on women. We're not doing that here. Everybody can get the smoke here.
But I'm still trying to figure out the moral compass that we're using. No, I don't think that you answered my question.
You lost your moral compass once you done let that man put his dick in you.
I'll answer your question.
No, I'm talking about like how are we assessing? It's not about me. I'm talking about their argument about
I'm not talking about you.
men and women.
In general.
I'll answer your question when I get a chance. I'll answer your question.
We got y'all, baby.
Mr. Bennett, I haven't heard you say anything for a while. I'm just, I know you always have something up in your head, man.
But I wasn't finished.
Lay some wisdom on
Just
us.
waiting my
That's all.
turn.
Yeah.
Just letting the panel
I
go
wasn't finished,
organically.
RP. I wasn't
Not a
finished,
problem.
RP. I wasn't finished, man.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'll chime in a little bit later. I
I'm
just want
sorry,
people to-
JC.
I'm
I'm
about to
sorry,
land
JC.
it. I'm
No, I'm
about
good.
to
I'm good.
Checking
There's a
on
lot
you,
of people
man.
that's
I
on
don't
here.
have the plane emoji and shit.
Listen, this is the thing, because
Just
we
wink
always
at
have
me,
these
RP, and
panels
I
up
got
here.
you.
And I'm glad that people come in here. And this, I'm gonna end it with this. We talk about a lot of different things. We can't eat the whole cake tonight. That's just the whole thing. But going back to what the video was, he was saying some things that are absolutely true. He didn't say, that's why he said, get it up under your own understanding. Don't try to put everything on me, because what was trying to be happening, because I saw the whole thing. And what they were trying to do was remix and say, are you saying this and are you saying that? No, damn that. I'm telling you right now, because he also married. He learned some shit from the woman that he was with. I don't know if they still together or whatever, but that's what we do as men. We learn from our mistakes. We learn from a lot of the things that we in with relationships, especially during these times right now. If you had a man that was married and he's divorced now, talk to that man and see what he's learned about himself and about the woman that he wants. Guaranteed, and especially if he my fucking age, it's very hard for a woman to marry me. She got to make that shit look real good, because I don't want what I wanted when I was in my 20s, in my 30s. It's a lot that we have to deal with each other, but back and forth and all that crazy ass shit, man, it's just like we're going to always have circular conversations if a lot of women just don't open their mind to what men are saying. It's like when we tell you the truth, you reject the truth. You want us to lie to you. And that's what is disheartening to me. I'm going to end it right there, man.
JT, I'm going to answer Jamie's question. Real simple. She said, where can I find these so-called good men? I put it to like, this is a compass that you can use. Marry a man that you would actually be proud to take your kids to where he is or where you met him. I'll give you an example. If you can't take your kids to the club, don't get your man out of the club. If you can take your kids to church, then get your man out of the church. It's real simple. You know what I'm saying? What we try to do is we try to make the man that we want into what we need. You see what I'm saying? Instead of getting the man that you need so you can have the things that you want. And that's it. I'm going to go back to Jenny because she's been sitting quietly, patiently. And then we're going to get Mr. Bennett and R. Payne, because I want to make sure we involve you guys into the conversation. Miss Jenny, give us your perspective on what you saw.
The thing that stands out the most to me is what he said at the very end, that any man can be saved by being loved on by a good woman. And I think that he'd probably just seen Freedom Riders one too many times, and thinks that everybody has a little bit of good in them, and that every man that everybody has can be saved, and in reality they can't, and that there are some men and there are some women who are just really bad and they are delinquent, and that they're defective, and so there's no amount of loving on them that you can do that will regenerate them, and they're just going to be bad people, and they're going to mistreat anybody that they're in a relationship with. So there's that. But also, I think that with the other point that he was making, that a good woman can revive a man who is bad, and he will feel the need to step up because she is loving on him. I've definitely seen that before happen in people that I know, men that I've known who didn't treat their woman right. And then over the course of time, they felt like, wow, she really stands by me. She really cares for me, and I feel bad. And they're motivated out of conviction because they feel like, man, she really cares about me and I'm doing her wrong. And I feel bad about that. But, that only works for people who have consciences. And so like what I was saying, that won't work for everybody. And so I think that, there is something to be said about a woman standing by her man. Shout out to Tammy Wynette. And
your man.
and that's a good principle. So there's that. And then to address what Take Heed said, I I think that I feel like as adults, we should be able to understand generalities and statistics. And so what she's saying is that for the most part, and more often than not, if you are fulfilling your husband's sexual needs, he won't cheat on you. Of course, she's not saying in every single marriage for every single couple on the face of the earth. That's just, you can't say that about anything, you know. But she's just speaking in general, and that is backed by the Bible, because it's saying that, you know, if you're gonna abstain, then it has to be for a set amount of time that's agreed on between the both of you, so that way you're not tempted by the devil. And so what that verse is implying is that you will be tempted by the devil if you are defrauding each other. And so how do you prevent yourself from being defrauded or being tempted by the devil is by not defrauding each other. And so, yeah, you know, another way of saying it is that, well, is there anything I can do to try to mitigate my chances of being cheated on? Then yeah, you can do what you're supposed to do. You can be the wife that you're supposed to be, and that will mitigate your chances. You know, to say that, you know, it'll be 100% foolproof, that depends on the man, like in this and Trey were saying. But in most cases, for your average man, because the average man can't pull a whole bunch of women in the first place, so he's happy to have you, and he's trying to get it from you. And so if you just do what you're supposed to do, then he's not going to try to find something else that he's going to have a hard time getting, and he's just going to be satisfied with you. And so I thought that was kind of silly. Like, I can see both perspectives. Like, of course, it's not going to work in every single scenario, but for the most part, it will work. And then the last point that was made, with Trey and Anissa, I think that it's ridiculous for a man to say that a woman should tolerate cheating, but a man should never have to tolerate cheating, because cheating is wrong for both parties. You know, I know about biology and physiology and you know, mental chemistry makeup. All of that is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. You know, whether or not women are more likely to accept cheating or be okay with it, that doesn't make it right. And so men should not cheat on their spouses, and just like women should not cheat. And even if the man is more upset by her cheating, then that's just, he's more upset, but that doesn't make it worse, because I 110% expect my husband to be faithful to me, no matter how high his testosterone is, no matter, you know, what his chemical makeup is. That doesn't justify him going against his vows that he made before God. And so, you know, I think that that's a little bit more fair. I think that, you know, we can have a bit more understanding if we're actually coming from a balanced perspective. You know, I mean, if the spouse cheats, then I think that you should try to work through that. And I think that you should try to move forward in your relationship if you're married. But to say that, oh, well, I can do it because I'm a man and you just don't understand. I understand the fact that it's wrong. I understand the fact that it's a sin. Now, how you want to justify it and make it okay in your eyes is another question, but it doesn't make it okay. And so that's what I had to say.
Appreciate it, Ms. Jenny.
Man,
Almanize, you're next. Because
that's great.
because you've been awfully quiet as well too. Go ahead. What's your perspective, darling?
I mean, there was truth in what Charleston said. The thing that I think a lot of people were missing was you can, and I've experienced it, you know, pour into some, you know, be in a relationship, pour into somebody, and, you know, they're, you know, not doing, you know, what you feel like they should be doing. You pour into them. Just because you do that, and at some point it may click, that's a choice that person has to make. And if it does click, that there's no guarantee you're going to be there when it clicks. I've had plenty of people, you know what I'm saying, circle back, you know, 5, 6, 7, 10 years later, you know, I know, you know, when we associated or we were together or whatever, you know, I did A, B, and C. And I know, you know, you were really, you know, there for me, you know, trying to help me. And, you know, it took, you know, some years after we stopped associating or, you know, broke up or whatever, for me to, you know, get what you're saying. And, you know, I've applied that to my life and I'm a much better person. I had a guy I was dating. He came back to me and he was like, you know, a couple of things that, you know, used to tell me, like, they, to this day, they still stick with me. But like, I can't touch that dude with a 600-foot pole. But if, you know, something that a couple of things from what he's saying that, you know, I instilled in him, once they click, you know, now he's, you know, a better person now than he was back then. But just because that you do that, that doesn't mean you're gonna be there to reap the benefits. So for me, that was the part that resonated with him because I've experienced that in my own life. So I mean, you know, pour into people, but you can't do it because you think you're gonna get something back.
That's a whole bar. That is a whole bar. Appreciate it. You right. Your harvest may not come when you sow. You know what I'm saying? It may show up else, but you know the race is not given to the swift. You know, some of those who endure. But that's a whole nother word. Our pain. You next, and then we're gonna go with Mr. Bennett because I want to make sure we get everybody's perspective.
Yeah. All right. Just a couple of things. One, to the sister who I can't even see your name. Jamie. Is it Jamie? Listen, I tell you what. BMU gave you an offer. I before you introduce him to your son, I suggest you talk to him offline a couple of times to see if he's somebody you could trust, because he did offer to talk to your son. I would take him up on that. I would say, you know, you could talk to him and say, here's where my son's at. Here's what I'm looking for. And if you can get to trust him, maybe he might be a voice to help you out because he got a bunch of sons, you know, and he's right about a woman can't raise a man to be a husband, but he offered. Whether you take him up on that or not, it's up to you. Okay, so he gave you an olive branch. I know all the confusion up here, he did give you an olive branch. I would suggest maybe you could take him off up on that. That's what I would say. That's the answer. All the rest of the stuff we talked about, that's an answer because he did give that olive branch. As far as the other thing is, I agree with Anissa about everything she said. The only problem I have a problem with is she always comes back to cheating. Okay. The bottom line is, I agree with Jenny. You know, if you're a man, yeah, we got proclivities because we want more women and all that kind of stuff. You got to make a choice. You got to make a choice. You marry, you got to make a choice. No matter how much you're enamored with women, how many women you want to bust down. When you tell your wife you ain't going to do it, you got to make that choice, and you got to make it more than one day, right? Because here's my thing. You know, like I said, I don't cheat on my wife, but here's the deal. And even if my wife cheated on me, there's something that she does I can never come back from. We will never be the same. I can never accept her back, even now, after 100,000 years, because my mind is just too vivid on what she might do to the dude that's busting the cheeks. But you know, I don't think about that. So I just know that I have to make a deal with her that I'm not going to do it. And now that I'm at it's not big of a deal as now as it might have been 20 years ago. So, but yeah, the women are right, man. You know, if you're going to make a choice to your wife, it doesn't matter whether she cheats is worse than yours. If you make those vows, you got to make sure that you keep making the choice to just choose her. But she's got to keep her obligations. And I could only tell you that before you marry your wife, you got to have it clear. Hey, you're going to be my only piece. You know, don't give me no bullshit. You know, I mean, we're going to have sex. You know, I got this little playbook that we're going to have to play out for the rest of our lives. You know, so you got to keep the things going that keeps her enamored with you. But, you know, you ain't going to be off the hook until I can't do it no more. You know, so don't be slipping saltpeter in my shit just so I can't have sex anymore. So don't be doing that shit. But anyway, but that's it. So I agree with the women on this one. Listen, if you're gonna make a choice, keep making that choice. And but as far as Charleston White, I don't need no goddamn woman to tell me how to love. I don't care what nobody says. No, I don't need a woman to tell me how to love.
Preach, pain.
You know, so
you know what, R-Pain, let me ask you a question.
I'm gonna just land it there before I ruin it.
Before you go,
whoever's next, go ahead.
Before you go, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Who's to say that Charleston White is learning how to love from the woman he's sleeping with, from the things that she endured? Maybe he saw his mother endure that, and that's where he's actually learning where he taught that from.
I don't know, man. You know what, man? We ain't Prince, man. Maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, listen, I hear what he said, but he don't read no other shit into that, man. He
No,
said
but
more
that's
than
what he
just that.
said. Don't take
he
nothing
told
away
those
from it.
women, I don't know whether he had his mother and all that kind of stuff. All I'm just trying to say, he connected the forgiveness for him into a woman pouring into him, and he might be a son of a bitch and all that kind of stuff. You know what? I hear him, but I don't agree with that. I just don't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He might have said some more stuff, but that little piece just kind of threw me. It just kind of threw me. My woman didn't have to do that shit for me.
All I'm saying is that sometimes we like to inject our situation into something what somebody else said.
I hear
Because
you,
what I
brother.
heard from what I heard was he said that we saw our mothers endure all of this. You see what I'm saying? So he didn't learn it from the woman he was sleeping with. He learned it from the woman who taught him, which was his mother. And I think what happened was a lot of women took their internalized pain and they injected themselves into his story so they could buck against what he was saying. To me, that's what I got.
You know what? I hear what you're saying. And you could play that 1,000 times. I'm not going to hear nothing different.
Of course.
You know, so the bottom line is we can both, you know what? That's the beauty of humanity and the English language. We could hear the same shit and interpret it differently.
Right.
I'm not going to agree with what he said in that little piece. I'm just not. You could play it a million times. I'm not going to agree.
going to force you to. You know why? Because
you know,
a man
that's
convinced
what I'm
against
saying.
his
You know, it's
will is
all
of the same
love.
opinion
It's
still.
all love.
I'm not finna convince you of anything you don't want.
We are clear that Charleston White is a cheater, though. We are clear.
Say that again.
All right, I just want to make sure we understand that.
Mr. Bennett, it's on you, sir. Save this conversation, sir. I know it's a lot of pressure.
Before I go, Trey, I wasn't sure because I know your name was mentioned a couple times when you were off, so I don't know if you came back to rebut or anything you want to retort before I said anything.
I never got to speak on Charleston White, but to me, Charleston White's an idiot. Personally, that's what I think of him. He had some moments where he said some things that kind of make sense, but a broken clock is right twice a day. So the odds is that he'll get something right from time to time. I will say this, though. I don't understand how you get to 45, 50, 55, 60 plus years of marriage and not endure something. I don't know how that happens. And what I'm seeing is that the couples that get that far, they deal with it when they cross that bridge, they deal with it and they move on. Whatever healing that needs to take place, whatever therapy that needs to take place, whatever they do to get past it. I don't understand the women of today where at the drop of the first sign of trouble, they are running for the hills. I don't get that. I don't get that mentality. I don't understand it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's a lot of social engineering. There's a lot of trauma that was passed down from their mothers and grandmothers and aunts and older sisters. And there's a lot of overinflated senses of self-worth that tell you, well, I have a college degree and I make this amount of money and I don't have to put up with this. And maybe you feel that way. Maybe that's perfectly fine. You can feel that way. And if living a life alone in your 60s, 70s, and 80s is what you aspire to, then keep going down that path. But the fact of the matter is that we all have to put up with some BS from time to time. Even if when I'm with a woman, I'm going to have to put up with some nonsense from her, especially considering that I'm not overly emotional. And I don't want to deal with your emotions. I don't have to manage your emotions, but I understand that in order to have a productive and constructive and successful marriage, you're probably going to have to put up with some emotions from time to time. So what I see in today's modern woman is this inability to be able to endure anything that hurts. Oh, it hurts too much. I'm out. And we've made marriage or getting out of marriage, divorce, far too easy. So when we start talking about morals, all this, miss me with all that. How about you just work through it? How about you figure it out? Now, this idea, and it's controversial because I do think that men are going to be men. And I've seen great men cheat. And I've seen horrible men cheat. And I've seen average men cheat. I've seen men who made $40,000 cheat. And I have friends who make $250,000. They cheat. Men are going to be men. But what I also know is that when I look at the woman, women are often typically more respected for having put up with the nonsense in the long run. Men don't get that, but women do. Women will always get that sort of pat on the back. All right, we know that you have had to deal with some bullshit and being with this man. They're almost revered for it because they understand it. So this idea of running away because it gets difficult, you only, in my opinion, only hurting yourself. It ain't but that many men out here, at least good ones, that y'all want based on the standards that the modern woman wants. Not that many. So if that being the case, why run away when you finally get it? Because he had an affair. Okay, well then deal with it. You have the leverage. Y'all are married. You have the leverage. You have all the leverage in the world when y'all get married. There's a part in the Tyler Perry movie. I can't think of the name of it. Something about Prey. The family that prays. The family that prays. When the white girl went to the mom, and what did the mom tell her? Sweetie, you in the driver's seat. You are a woman scorned without a prenup. That's what she told her. She said, state your demands. You have a position of leverage. We got to stop making these soft cotton tissue Disney princess fairy utopian women that get hurt every time you poke them too hard. I can't imagine that marriage is easy. I don't look at my great aunts and great uncles and imagine that shit was easy. It looks hard. It looks rough. It looks difficult. Just the mere thought of only hitting one pussy for the rest of my life is difficult for me to even think of.
Did you hear what I said?
Take heed. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest, take heed. Take heed. I'm being honest with you. Sister, I'm being honest with you. One woman for the rest of my life? That's insane to me. I'm not built that way. Go ahead,
Trey, let me ask you this. What if she was submissive to your needs? And
if she was submissive to my needs, she let me have other women.
Really? Even if she did all of that? Boy, you ain't making it look good.
She could be Bernice Burgos. And eventually I'm going to get tired of Bernice Burgos. And y'all know how I feel about Bernice Burgos. And eventually my uncle told me a long time ago, no matter how fine she is, no matter how bad she is, there is a man somewhere that's tired of her shit.
Now, I've heard that before.
It doesn't matter. It's just men are wired differently. And that's why I'm saying you have to find the R-Pains. You got to find the Mr. Bennetts because they ain't all out there. I ain't Mr. Bennett. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I'm telling you straight up from jump. I want a mistress.
Yeah. You better make sure you get it in the deal.
I'm gonna tell you from the jump. I want a mistress. Either you.
But I think that was my whole point.
You state your demands and you say you want a mistress. It's gonna cost you this. Fine. We're gonna negotiate. We're gonna have this conversation. I'm not built like that.
That was my whole point. You need to choose. If you're a good woman, you need to choose a Payne or a Bennett. But if you choose a Trey, then you know what you're going to be dealing with. But if that's not what you want, you choose a Bennett or a Payne. If you're a good woman, you don't have to put up with a Trey because that's what Trey wants to do. You choose a Payne or a Bennett. That was my whole
point. Anissa, you know who choose a Payne or a Bennett? Those women who are young enough and smart enough to get them while they were smoking hot.
Did you hear what I said?
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. They didn't wait until they was 40 and 50 and 60 years old to sit up and say, you know what? I'm going to give him the best part of me. No, that ain't what that is. If you ask Mr. Bennett, and if you ask our
men die off,
when they met their wife. Ask them when they met their wife.
Hear what I said?
Ask them. Matter of fact, let's ask R-Pain. R-Pain, when did you meet your wife?
You know what, man? These damn panels. I'm gonna tell you, I was in my 20s. Let me tell you, these panels make me feel like a unicorn because there ain't no guy like me no more, man. Shit.
Ain't nothing wrong with ain't nothing wrong with being a unicorn.
I got a horn and everything. I got a,
so are you saying the only men left on the planet are men like Trey? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is the smart ones know when to get in on the ground floor of the thing that's hot. You know what I'm saying? That's what that means.
Wait, we're gonna piggyback then because you just told me that if I wanted a good man, I make sure that I don't get him in a club and that I go to the church, right? So, but basically, what I'm getting from this is
you be proud to take your kids around where you met your husband. That's what I said.
Did you hear what I said?
In the church
Let's not remix it.
The pastors be cheating. What are you talking about?
It don't matter.
Well,
Those are
there's
not
only
As long
two
as she
men
ain't
in
married the
church
pastor,
anyway.
she gonna be all
There's
right.
only two men
Listen,
left.
you
That's
know
what
what the
I'm.
problem is,
She
ladies?
ain't marrying the
You know what
pastor.
y'all problem is,
As long as
ladies?
she mess with
Y'all
the pastor, she gonna
refuse
be all
to
right.
accept reality. You refuse. Miss Jenny just said that biology is irrelevant. Y'all refuse to accept reality.
Because
Y'all
you
refuse to
choose to
accept it.
override your biology. You
Where's the reality, though?
No, it doesn't. No, it
So with reality
doesn't.
is
She
no
just
matter
choosing
where
not
you
to
meet a
override
man
his.
at,
That's all that is.
So
Mr.
you
no
think
matter
Bennett,
where
it's
you
more
meet a
of a
man
man than
at,
our pain?
But
You
hold on.
put the Bible next to a naked woman and see who he picked.
Well, okay.
So
Let me
you're
just.
what
what
do
you're
you
saying
want
is
naked women?
See if he
saying
gonna
that
sit
you're
there and
more
read
of
the
a man than
scriptures.
our
See if he
pain.
gonna see it. If he gonna sit there and read the scriptures, or if he gonna deal with that naked woman.
Let
You
me just
let
say
me know
this
which
to the
one he gonna
ladies.
do.
Hey, let me
Come
just say
on,
this
man.
to the ladies. If you read Isaiah 4, chapter 1,
come on.
it says seven of you are going to have to choose one man and legitimize you. That's what it says. It's word for word.
Mm.
That's
No,
what it
sir.
says. Just rip it out. Whip out Isaiah 4, chapter 1. It says in the future, because he was a prophet, by the way. In the future, he says 7 women, in order to be legitimate, have to choose one man.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah,
That's
the
what it
last
says.
time.
I didn't say it. That's the word of God.
Mm.
Did you hear what I said?
Let us say it. Listen, Mr. Bennett, I want you to answer your question. When did you meet your wife? In your 20s or your 50s, sir?
Well, it was
Answer the
definitely my
question, sir.
Exactly. Go ahead, Mr.
Now
Bennett, because I know you've
to
been
that
patiently waiting.
point, because again the discussion here is on where to find the good men, but again, women, what is your standard? I mean, you're asking for men like myself or our pain, not pat myself on the back or anything, but again, what are you providing? Is it going to be conditional femininity when you feel like it? Is it going to be, is it going to be someone who's going to follow? So you have to, you really, most of it, and this is why I would share with Take Heed, most of these questions that you're having, you have to deal with yourself and what you are willing to offer. You're putting so much emphasis on what the man can offer, but what are you offering? And I think
Trey
that's what
says if you offer all of that, he's still gonna cheat on you.
Still
That's
gonna
what
cheat.
Mr. Bennett.
I don't even
Still gonna cheat.
remember
No, I'm
saying
only
anything
asking.
about.
Listen,
Go ahead,
I'm
Mr.
only
Bennett.
dealing
I don't
with
remember even.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't
Go
remember
ahead, Mr.
asking
Bennett.
about what a man is offering. I'm just saying what's the standard? What's the moral standard for everybody?
Again,
Where is this? Where is this guideline?
I got you. But that stand, you're going to have to find that out, because one thing I think coming from this conversation, the standard is going to be different for everybody. Now, mine, I agree with most of what Miss Jenny said. I think cheating, man or woman, either way, it's not good. I don't make exceptions for men. I don't follow that that train of thought, and that's just not me. But see, you're going to have to meet me, and you're going to have a conversation, and you're going to have to ask those questions. See, a lot of people are getting together and they're not asking the pertinent questions when it comes to the things that you value. So again, if you want to know what my moral compass is, ask me. I may not, because you could say, well, I'm a Christian, or I believe in this, or, Old Testament, New Testament. That still doesn't necessarily define who I am. You're going to have to ask me and really dig deep to find out who I am, to know what my moral compass is. And then you're going to have to make a decision whether or not you're going to roll with that or not. So again, it's not going to be a generic answer. I think Christian is an overused term. And so, you can labels don't matter. Your political labels don't matter. Your religious labels don't matter. The only thing that matters is the person that you're dealing with. And that is the whole reason for courting. So unless you have that together, when I got serious about meeting a wife, I had very specific requests. I had very specific standards, and I was asking very specific questions. And the woman I married, she had to fulfill, most certainly on the high moral end. She didn't have to check off all the boxes. She didn't have to be 100%, but at least she had to meet at least 80%. I tell guys all the time, I wanted a short woman. I wanted my wife to be about 5'2", 5'3". I'm 6'3". My wife is 5'11". But she wasn't deterred by the fact that, oh, well, I'm too tall for him. So no, she was like, I'm still gonna shoot my shot. So again, so that's the process. So again, how you pick, how you go about, what are you doing? A lot of people just dating, y'all just laughing and having fun, and a lot of people having sex and all that, but you're not really getting down to, is this person the type of person that I want to commit to? And we're missing a lot of that. The problem is you'll get physical so fast, you'll get all emotionally and physically invested in the person that, those questions just kind of get pushed to the side. I put my stuff out very quickly. It's like, look, I'm looking for this kind of woman. If you're not with it, I was willing to let 99 women go to get the one. And I didn't care. So I think, if that's what you're in search of, you're going to have to be that specific about what you want. And again, is that person in turn, they have criteria also. Are they going to be willing to accept you at 38 with a 16-year-old son? Are they going to be willing to accept you? And then, but that's the process. I can't change that, because we're not going back to arranged marriages and getting betrothed at birth and all that kind of stuff. We're not going back. If you want to, compete in this market, that's where the courtship must take place. But in regard to the gentleman, the commentary about the love thing, one thing I put in the chat, both the private chat and the public chat, one thing that we didn't lead this conversation with is we didn't talk about what type of love that we're talking about. Because I think part of the problem and why we're kind of overshooting each other is because we're conflating different types of love.
Yes.
And most people say there's only 3. There's actually 8.
Facts.
And in the link that I sent, it lists what those 8 types of love is. And I think the type of love that Charleston White is talking about, you're talking about that unconditional, you're talking about that agape love that most of us spend our whole lives trying to get to, but falling very short. There's only one who truly loved, if you're a person of faith, and that's God, because he loved us when we didn't love him and we didn't love ourselves, but he loved us. And so the work of the Christian person coming from that perspective is, how do I move from my selfish forms of love, my eros love, which everybody's on that. Everyone loves the eros stuff. That feels great. And everyone loves the filial stuff, because that's when it's nice. Everyone's lovey-dovey towards each other. Everyone's into the philia. Everyone's into the eros. But when you want to get into like the unconditional, to love people unconditionally is the task of a human being. How you become more godly is to move from those selfish types of love to that unselfish type of love. So on that level, I can understand what he's saying when he's talking about that kind of that love that will love you even when you don't love yourself, even when you're doing harm to yourself and harm to others, but they still love you. And again, is it foolproof? Is it guaranteed? As Miss Jenny said, you're not, look, you can work out 6 days a week. You can have the perfect diet, vegan diet. You can still get cancer. And I know people who've smoked their whole lives and died at 95 years old.
Facts.
So again, all we're talking about is mitigation, is general principles of how things works. You can read Proverbs. Proverbs has some really good material in there. I think a lot of the self-help books and positive mental attitude books draw a lot from Proverbs. It's not perfect though, because people will, and that's why you have a book like Ecclesiastes, because the same man who wrote most of Proverbs wrote Ecclesiastes. He's basically, Ecclesiastes said, look, at the end of my life, I understand this. All that stuff I wrote you in Proverbs is not going to work all the time. And this is how life really is, that even when you do good, people will still have evil intent towards you. So Ecclesiastes is the real. That's why a lot of times I like Ecclesiastes better than Proverbs. Now, one thing that lost in translation, he started to quote this scripture, the race is not given to the swift nor the strong. And then he had this other part of it. That's not in the scripture. He that endures to the end. Those are 2 separate scriptures that are conflated together. The end of that, the race is not given to the swift or the strong. The way that ends is given to sometimes people are just lucky in life. Like I said, for me, for our pain, yeah, we may not have the script for you. We just lucked out. And some people get lucky. Some people get breaks in life. Can't change that.
Especially our pain.
You might be the luckiest of all time. But so I think when we're having this conversation about love, I think we need to nuance this a little bit. What type of love are we talking about? that unconditional love him even when he's doing all these things to you, or when people aren't loving you back, that kind of selfless love. That's not easy for most people to attain. But I think most of the love that I heard talked about tonight, the reason why people I think were so passionate was, again, you're dealing with that filial, you're dealing with that eros, those emotions and those feelings, and that make you mad or make you just head over heels madly in love with somebody. And that kind of love that goes up and down. But if we can work on being a bit more selfless, I think there are benefits to it. So again, I would never have a woman or man be in an abusive relationship. But can you love people through things? Yes, you can. Even the scriptures talk about that. Talk about, let's say both of you were unbelievers when you got married, but one becomes a Christian. Now, if the other spouse wants to leave, you can let them go. Then you're not bound to them if they want to leave. But if they want to stay, you stay in the marriage, because more than likely, if you are living the Christian life the way it's supposed to be lived, you might win them over. It's like, oh man, I didn't know you could be this good. I mean, maybe I should be a Christian too. That's the idea, that through your love and through your example, and that they're seeing the best part of you, that would be of influence. Will it work all the time? No, it won't. But human life is hard. Marriage, it can be very hard. But I think marriage, I think, is if I had to describe marriage, it is marriage is an opportunity for you to work out some of these spiritual principles that we're talking about, for a man to love his wife and for a wife to respect her husband. And as you pursue that, I think you're becoming more godly. So if a man is here and a woman's here, as you're in marriage, if you're truly doing what you're supposed to do, you come together, you get more closer, you become more godly, both of you, in the exercise and practice of your faith. So I that's kind of how I see it. And again, it's a lifelong task. If you're gonna, like Trey said, if the goal is death, you're gonna be working this till you die, and you may not get necessarily as much out of it, but hopefully you'll be better off than when you started. So.
Mr. Bennett, that's crazy, because I always said that marriage was, an institution for you. It's not to save you, right? It's not to save you. It's actually to reveal all the bullshit that you've been going through, right? Mm-hmm. But it's dope that you said that it's an opportunity. See, if people looked at marriage as being an opportunity and as being a class or a university for you to become the person that you're destined to become with another person, I think we would be a little bit different. But the majority of people are looking at what they get out of it and not what they put in it. Now, remember when Charleston White first said it, he said, a relationship or marriage is not what you put in it, it's what you get out of it, right? I initially said, nah, that's fucked up. But I understood when he started going into what he was saying. And I understood where he was going at with that. And that does speak to what Mr. Bennett was just saying. It's a different type of love that he was talking about. That's why I'm like, you can't just disregard everything that the man was saying. I agree with Trey. And for the most part, I think he's a fucking idiot. However, the message was something for us to actually have a great conversation about. And one of the things is that if we're trying to be married, and if we're trying to be in a serious relationship, which is still going to be marriage, then we have to change the way that we actually think. The majority of us do. The majority of us we got to get out our own way. We got to stop looking at what we get out of it and what we can actually contribute to it. That's why when we talk about marriage on this panel, a lot of times we talk about it when it comes down to, like, it's ideal to be younger to be married than to wait till you start getting in your later years, because this is the thing you learn through marriage. So when he was saying all of the things that we endure with each other and all this, one of the things that I can honestly tell you, in a marriage, if you got expectations, you're also going to have disappointments. If you got expectations, guess what's right behind it? Disappointments. It's a lot of the things that we have to go, like you hear the talking points about what type of woman a man get and what type of man a woman get. I've heard a lot of people speak. I've seen it with my own eyes. If you talk to people that are in their later years and they've been married 75 years plus, I wish we had a video. I wish we had videos of them then. They were not the same people that you see right there being very like grovel walking and they're very nice to each other. These probably were some goddamn toxic ass people at one time. If you hear their story, you'll be like, wow. You got people there tell you, we was divorced for 10 years before we got back together. She had 2 kids with another man. This is the things that you will hear, but they're still together. They died. The end of it is death. So you're not getting anything out of it. It's not for you. It's for the next generation. It's for the children. It's for everyone that's in your family. We don't have that mindset. The majority of us don't have that mindset. So we're coming into these institutions, especially when we come with the number one thing, dating. We don't take that shit serious. We don't take dating as, okay, we date, we court, we marry. That's not what it is. We date with disappointment. We date with aggression. We date with all the bullshit, and we put that shit on the front. This is why we're so abrasive towards each other, because we don't trust each other initially. So it makes it it's not that it doesn't happen. And again, when we speak, we don't speak on something that's going to just happen. We speak on balance of probabilities. That's what it is. So the first person we start with is ourselves. I gotta agree with what Trey said, Takey. There's nothing that would stop a man from cheating on a woman other than that man.
That's right.
And a lot of it has to do with how we build ourselves. It has everything to do with how we build our integrity. Integrity is the number one thing, and the man has to instill that shit. He has to instill it. Well, the best of men have cheated on the best of women. She did everything in her power to make sure that man was happy and satisfied and all that. But y'all some beautiful ass beings.
They don't get it,
And
JT.
opportunity
They
is
don't
right there
understand.
in our fucking face. And when we see opportunity, sometimes we'll look back and say,
Trey.
Listen,
just because JT co-signs for you does not give you points.
I'm just saying,
JT
listen to me.
You still my brother.
I love you, girl. I love everybody on this.
Oh, we
not
cool now.
Trey, don't be trying to.
All right, y'all.
We not cool now. I thought we was.
You know what? We go give our final thoughts. We go keep it at 2 minutes a buck, and I want y'all to tell everybody.
Let me go first, though. Okay, let me go first.
Go ahead, Arpain.
Yeah, listen, on the marriage thing, right? I mean, everybody's been on a plane. Right? Every plane doesn't have a smooth ride, right? Some start with you go through turbulence and all that, but when you get married for a long time, you got those periods where you're gonna have some turbulence. Some
Mayday!
started, man.
I'm
God,
Land the plane.
The point is that at some point in your marriage, like where I'm at, you hit the jet stream. That's where we are. We're in the jet stream. Everything is just smooth. After 30-something years, we don't have those turbulent times because we're where we are. You know, the truth of the matter is, and I don't want to even be morbid, we're at that point where we're Medicare, that kind of stuff. We're talking about just being together until one of us goes. Now, we don't have any of those kind of things. So we're in the jet stream of our marriage. So all the turbulence and all that other kind of shit that happened through our 20s or 30s, for everybody's going to be different. You know, you just got to decide whether you're going to go through it till you get to calm air. And that's how I look at it. But as far as, and I only wanted to say one thing to Jamie and stuff. I know you talked about your son a little bit, and the only reason why I mentioned it because you mentioned it. It's easy because you're mama bear, right? So it's going to be hard for you to understand that you might have to trust somebody else with your son, your precious baby. But even if you have to get on a Zoom with a guy like BMU And because there are some stuff, if you say your son is 16, I can guarantee you he has shit in his head he can't talk to you about. I can guarantee you that. So you have to, if you can reach out to a man who offers something, you could be there because he has sons. You could have his sons on the other side of the Zoom. Just talk to him. And then at some point when you trust him and all that stuff, maybe you let your son ask him some questions so he can get some answers. I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm just throwing that out there. You take it as what you want to. I could be wrong.
I think I'm confused on why everybody keeps on telling me that like I was told by Trey that it wasn't the community's problem. So I said I need this. I said give me a solution, and then when I was given a solution, then he said that it wasn't the community's problems, and that's fine. And so I never said I was not going to reach out to the person. I think that maybe the correction should come to the person that said that I should have to reach out to somebody. I'm confused.
No, don't be confused. Forget that conversation. I'm talking to you. I don't know that part of it. I'm just saying you could take what I'm saying for what it's worth. Forget about all the rest of the other stuff. I'm just saying, if it hasn't sunk in, you had an offer that I'm just saying you might be good to take. And just take that for what it's worth. Everything else, put it to the side. Just put it to the side. That's not where I'm coming from. I'm not talking about community property. I'm talking about you and one man on this who's building this network, right? And he offered. And if he didn't offer, I wouldn't say this, but he offered. I heard him a couple of times say it. So that's all I'm saying.
I was saying that I didn't say I wasn't going to take the offer, is what I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, okay, thank you. I hear you. I hear you. I'm glad you listened. I'm glad it registered. Cool.
Appreciate
I hope
it.
you do. I hope you do.
Let's go ahead and get these final thoughts out of the way because it's
That was
way
my
past
final
your
thought.
bedtime.
Hey,
No,
good
you
meeting
good.
by the way. I haven't
That's
seen
you.
you up here.
Yeah, Mr.
Come
Payne.
back.
Yeah.
Come back so we can give you the smoke.
Let's start with Jenny because I know she's ready to go. Jenny, go ahead and tell us, give us your final thoughts and tell the people how they can find you.
So I guess my final thoughts are that what Charleston was saying about love is about what you can take and not what you can give. I can't agree with that because it's better to give than to receive. And so I think that if you go into your marriage or into any relationship, whether it be a friendship or your job, or your church, if you go into the mindset of what can I give and how can I be a blessing to others and to this person, that I think that relationship will yield a lot more fruit and be a lot more fulfilling for all parties involved. And so if you go into your marriage with the idea of how can I serve this person, how can I better them, how can I be a blessing to them, then it's funny because people think like, oh, I gotta look out for number one, I gotta look out for myself because no one else is gonna look out for me. But when you have that attitude, then your spouse will adopt that attitude as well, if not immediately, then at some point. And so and then if you're a Christian, then it's just the right thing to do and God will bless you. And so I think that's the attitude that more people should have. And if they did, then they would see a much greater yield in their marriage. And if you like information like this, then check back here on the first Saturday of each month to watch me here on Black Man Unfiltered. And then you can catch me on my channel, Mrs. Jenny R. Jones, every Friday night for live content.
Thank you, Miss Jenny. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out once again. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on. Next, we're going to go with Jamie. Jamie, go ahead and tell the people, give us your final thoughts and tell the people where they can find you, darling.
I don't have any final thoughts, to be honest. Not in a bad way. In one sense, you see like, okay, we need to do community, which was what you described just now, Jenny, was, sewing into people because that's what you do when you're in a community. And then there's another sense where people say, just look out for yourself and be selfish. So I don't really have any thoughts. I think there was a good observation to be able to listen and to see how other people listen when you talk. and it was educational for me. And then I do potentially have somebody that could mentor my son. So I think I gained in a sense. So that's my final thoughts.
Thank you, Jenna. As always, it's a pleasure. We may not always agree on everything, but we will respect each other. And I just want to say thank you for coming out tonight, even though it's your first time. It's not my first time hanging out with you, but I just want to let you know you're always welcome here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. We want to always make you feel like you're at home, okay? Next, we're going to go over to Take Heed to the Message. Take Heed, go ahead and give us your final thoughts and tell the people how they can reach you.
I knew it.
Let me stop. Okay. So, Trey, you happy because JT co-signed for you. That's my final thought tonight. Okay. And you can reach me at Take Heed to the Message in YouTube land. Okay. Come rock with me. Okay. I do a lot of drama on my channel. And I will curse you out if you get indignant. Yeah. I'm that type of woman. Okay. I will kiss you, hug you, but I will curse you out if you get indignant. And I just want to say that when we are married, we have to learn how to cater to one another. We have to never forget servitude when you're married. That servitude plays a big part in your marriage, and a lot of people forget that. And shout out to Jenny, Miss Jeannie, shout out to Jenny. Everybody have a good night.
All right, sis.
Thank you so much. Take Heed. Thank you for coming out, darling. As always, it's a pleasure to have you in our presence. As always, thank you so much. Mr. Bennett, give us your final thoughts, sir, and tell the people how they can reach you, sir.
Well, most of the time you can reach me usually in the BMU universe. I should call it that because I think he has a show on pretty much every day of the week now. So I'm on usually on the Tuesday night show. I co-host on the Wednesday one-on-one sports show. I'm in the barbershop on Fridays. And you can also find me in the gray area Sunday nights at 9:30, where I'm myself and Grooming and Reviews. We have an enlightened conversation. So yeah, more than likely you can find me here. You can also find me on Instagram, Paul T. Bennett. I'm not too hard to find. But as far as final thoughts, it's understand the types of love that we're talking about. But the love that love that hopes all things, endures all things, no love never fails. Yeah, that's a work. I think as human beings, that is I think our calling, to learn how to love better, to learn how to be less selfish in how we go about doing things, and certainly it's going to manifest itself in our relationships. And that is your life's work if you choose, especially if you choose to be married. And but great conversation tonight. Appreciate the perspectives from everybody, and so looking forward to next week's show and the next conversation. Thank you.
Appreciate it. As always, Mr. Bennett, it's a pleasure having you, sir. We respect your wisdom and your kindness.
Oh, and shout out, as ladies, as you can see, you are surrounded by this panoply of beautiful, benevolent ball brothers of the BMU network. We are the 7 Bs. We live a follically free life. And as you can see here, how we represent here. So this is why, in part, why we have such dynamic conversations, because of the brothers that you're seeing here. So salute to the 7B Nation.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Appreciate it. Let's go with Almanize, man. Almanize, give us your final thoughts, darling, and tell the people how they can reach you.
Okay. Final thoughts. I think it was a good conversation. I do think we focused a lot on women and their, I guess you would call it, unrealistic expectations, but we really don't dive into there is a vast majority of men out here with unrealistic expectations as well, and are not relationship equipped, but yet want you to believe that they are. So that goes back to what Jamie was saying up at the top, what's the standard? What are you supposed to be looking for? You need to match what they doing with what they saying. Because they'll tell you one thing and then be moving in a whole different manner. So we need to have a conversation about how to vet on both ends for men and women, because that's extremely important. But it definitely was a lot to take in and process. So I'm glad it was a part of the conversation.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. As always, it's a pleasure. You can tell the people how they can find you, darling.
You can find me on my channel, on my I-78. I will actually be doing a small, quick recap after this show about what was going on and just some of my thoughts. So guys, check me out. Usually on a couple times a week. So yeah, check me out on my I-78.
All right. As always, it's a pleasure, darling. Now we're going to get to Mr. Trey. Mr. Trey, go ahead, sir, and give us your your final thoughts, sir, and tell the people how they can reach you.
Well, you can't reach me right now because my Instagram is down because I called a fat woman a fat woman. So
oh man,
I'm in jail right now. So don't worry about that.
Come on, man. You know better
what
than
she
that,
was.
man.
She was fat, and she didn't think she was fat. Told her she was fat, and then the next thing I know, they're like, your account is under review. Anyway,
That must be why the Lord shut down Facebook and Instagram today. Picking on you.
My message is to young Gen Xers, millennial, and Gen Z women. Y'all need to toughen the hell up. Y'all soft out here. And I don't know how you expect to have a relationship, a meaningful relationship that somehow evolves into this marriage of 30, 40, 50 some odd years that you want, and think that the entire time it's going to be birds chirping and peach cobbler pie and rainbows and sprinkles. No, the shit's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, especially if you meet a man like me, because I'm not an easy man to get along with. I am difficult. So I don't understand this idea of this sweetness and everything's going to be great and everything's going to be gravy and it's always going to be good. I dealt with women like that. And they are all in my past for a reason, because when the shit got thick, they ran. Relationships aren't meant to be always so easy. It is valleys and peaks. It is a roller coaster ride. We will go up and we will go down. I want somebody who's going to stay on the ride regardless of the height. I have an issue with women my age who cannot get in the foxhole with me. Shout out to JT. Get in the foxhole with me and fight for it. Because that's the only way you make it to 50 some odd years. I don't believe that Mr. Payne has been married for 30 years and ain't never had no problems. Of course he had some problems. They had to fight for it. And if you're not willing to fight, then stop talking about these relationships and this marriage, because you're not built for it. You fragile. And you shouldn't be out here. Because this shit seems to me, from what I can see, watching other married people who've been married for 2-3 decades, this shit is not for the weak at heart. It is not for the faint. This is for the tough. And if you're not tough, get out the way and make the room for the tough women. I'll see y'all probably tomorrow.
Oh, you need to be there. You need to be here.
What you talking about, JT?
Tomorrow, I'll be on doing my show tomorrow night. You already know what the shenanigans on. Yeah. Oh, is there anybody else? We got everybody? Yeah, because you muted.
Yeah,
Or
Anissa,
mutate.
Anissa has to go. Right.
Oh,
Anissa,
shit.
go ahead.
Oh shit. Hold on, Nisa. Hold on. Before you even go, let me just put this out here right now.
Oh, okay.
That's what Anissa was doing today, boy.
What?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just gonna repeat something that I said earlier. Love is, in relationships, is give and take. It's sacrifice, compromise, service on both parts. And I think when both people are invested and committed to it, then that's when you can have a beautiful union. I think everyone understands that marriage is not perfect. There will be ups and downs. You will go through some things, but I just reject the idea that you have to be drug through the mud, basically, in order to get to that beautiful sweet spot. I reject that. I think that good women should have a standard for themselves. I don't think a good woman, hopefully, won't choose a man where she may see that those things could be a problem. We have to vet better. We have to have discernment, and we also have to go to God and ask God to show you the heart of that man, and vice versa. Men need to be praying the same thing. I have never been in a situation where if I went to God and I said, show me, that he has never shown me. So I think if you go into it and you ask God to show you the heart of that man, he'll show you if that man is foolishness or not. And now if you choose to go ahead with it, then you get what you get. But I think that that marriage can be a beautiful, beautiful thing if both people go into it with the right mindset. And that's it.
All right. Thank you for coming out on this. It's always a pleasure to have you out, darling.
Always
You got to tell the
good.
people how they can find you.
You'll find me right here on Tuesday nights.
All right. Appreciate it. And last but not least, our Payne on the panel. Sir, give us your final thoughts and how the people can reach you.
Yeah. Well, you can reach me on my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. On Wednesday, I have a sports show, but it's at 7:00 before this one. So it's usually like an hour long or so. And on Monday nights here on BMU, I come up with topics to discuss. Last night, we talked about Russell Wilson and how great of a guy he is until BMU came out there and broke up our love fest.
Don't you ever say another motherfucking word to me.
But anyway, I come up with some stuff to talk about. And I try to get it from an angle where we have some solutions, or we're not just talking about the regular typical stuff on the panels. Even when it came to him being a stepdad, I didn't want to come from the angle on how much people hate those guys. You know what? Some of those guys need to be revered for what they do. So let me just leave that there.
All right. Appreciate it, our Payne. As always, it's a pleasure, sir. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for giving us your wisdom and sharing the time with us. Last but not least, JT. JT, come on, man. Give us your final thoughts, sir, so we can go home.
I'm out of hot air, bro. So I'm just about to I'm a land, a easy land. Shit. I gotta do all this talking tomorrow. But yeah, I just like it when we can actually mine things out and we can talk on these panels, man. And we just bring ourselves out. Sometimes, I mean, you got to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? When we hear, because we don't really get good answers when you don't have people that are being, honest. That's just what it is. But we are also respectful here. We get passionate and shit like that over here. But let me tell you, it's actually a great thing because I take a lot of the things that you guys say, and that shit, it rolls over in my mind sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And then I come back. And we've done many a shows, and I've changed the way, my stance many a times. So it's just good to have everybody up on here. It's kind of like a family over here. And young lady, I hope you come back. I hope you be over here and actually have some more because we have some different conversations also. They're not all the same, but it's pretty cool over here. I know it's kind of rough the first time, but I mean, we all respect each other and we all have love for each other big time. And with that being said, tomorrow I'm gonna be on some shenanigans, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie, I'm gonna be talking that bullshit. The title of my show is, if you see the thumbnail, 6 feet, 6 inches, and a kidney. And it asks, I did ask it at first, but I said, he said, yes. Baby, you just got friendly pussy. No, the title JT, of it is Dry Beggars Can't Be Choosy. It's about a woman that's on dialysis and telling a man in order to date her what he got to do. He got to give her gifts and take on trips and all this. And so we're going to be talking about that. And I got some other videos before that, but this is what we talk about. Trust me when I tell you, it start out ratchet as shit, but it ends out with real conversation. It always ends with real conversation, especially if you got our pain bringing his ass up there and always want to beat everybody ass and stuff because he the OG and stuff, man. We ain't gonna have that shit tomorrow. I'm telling you, I'm gonna fight back. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you crazy?
No, I love the OG. I'm just messing with him tonight, y'all. But yeah, follow me.
Hey, BMU, why your glasses so fogged up? What you just get finished doing?
I went in, hey, you know, I went in and ate some unholy meat.
Because last week your ass came back huffing and puffing. Remember that shit?
Hey, look,
I'm back.
So, I'm gonna tell y'all something, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I was sitting in the back listening to the show because I don't mind as a host, or I don't mind as being over this channel. I don't mind removing myself for other people to have their perspectives. And so on this panel, as you can see, you can only have 10 at a time. And so when I seen Arpain come up and I seen Trey come up, I wanted to give them the opportunity to have a full conversation, and I removed myself based on that. I have no problem doing that. I don't need the spotlight, but we have the conversation. So I want to thank everybody that came out. Jamie, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being a trooper. We had a great conversation. I think we jumped you in tonight. Pretty good.
Yeah, like a real game. It's cool though. Like I'm from LA anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, so
don't be scared. Come on back. We don't bite.
Yeah, exactly. Come on back.
Back, man.
We have a really
unless you
good
ask
time.
me to, then I'll bite. But don't just come on back.
Oh, wait. What we didn't do, we're not gonna be disrespectful because Trey here.
I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can't dance all night long. I can't help it.
Trey Day. I guess who's looking your way.
Stupid.
Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah.
Ooh yeah. Oh,
if you play Trey, then you're gonna have to go ahead and do ours, man. I mean, damn.
Oh man. Well,
You
first
have
of all,
to do ours, bro.
we got to get Mr. Bennett out of the way, okay? He signed to Good Enough Records a few weeks ago. He's been number 2 in the chart since the Diggling song came out. And so I wanted to just make sure that we definitely play Mr. Bennett first before we do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bennett.
Again, look, I'm not one to step out. That's just not who I am. That's not who I am. Permanent separation at that point.
Say amen.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett, we thank you for those great words of encouragement.
Stand back.
So that's what happens when I follow JT, man. I'm lost for words. So I'm like, I'm just looking for something.
Yeah, I just want to also say, I want to thank JT and Dr. Nkumbe for giving us the Diggling song because I just think that it was very important that we have a song that we can, really get to the people. And Black David is in the chat tonight, so shout out. Shout out to him. I appreciate that. Take Heed was here tonight. We didn't acknowledge Take Heed in her campaigns for 2020.
Black Man Unfiltered said we calling out all the hoes this year. Yes, we are. We calling out all the hoes in 2024. Damn it, we tired of y'all. We calling out all the hoes in 2024 this year.
I want to thank Take Heed for all of her righteousness. I know my girl was on the road tonight. And she called me and asked me why I didn't give her the link, and I told her
confused.
She was traveling tonight, so
embrace.
But guys, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to some, and because we have some fans of the Diggling song. TikTok muted it because they said it was bullying. I don't think it's bullying. Yeah, they muted the Diggling song. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Diggling song featuring JT from What We Know Podcast at the top of the screen up here. Dr. Nkumbe, who is on Thursday nights. He has Jamie, you got to come back for some of our other shows. We're on 7 days a week, sweetheart. But it's just different shows, different perspectives. We have our Dr. Nkumbe, who deals with mental illness, mental care. Him and Coach K on Thursdays. He's a part of this song as well. And so I introduce to you the Diggling song.
Going to Diggling museums. Yes.
What's that? It's Diggling. Oh, shit.
Yeah. You think they're going on them girls' trips to have a second meet with Jesus? Nah, Diggling museums, all these bitches going to the Diggling museums, all these hoes going to Diggling museums. They get on the plane and you think they flying, but when they land they looking for some dick, they lying. Diggling museums, yep, your wife at a Diggling. She got a dick in her hand and she's taking pictures, and she with your sister-in-law and they getting with you. They taking pictures, FaceTiming you and telling you that they eating food like they at the fucking zoo. But they not. They can't. They ain't trying to do nothing but that Diggling. They in Jamaica on the raft headed down the river. They got a nigga rubbing their ass and they pussies quiver. They getting wet and they don't think about you. They're only thinking about that Jamaican dude. Diggling museums. All these hoes going to the Diggling museums. All these hoes going to the Diggling museums. They going. Hey, they going. Okay, they going. Hey,
God bless the food, goddamn.
They going. I do want to kick a shout out to Anissa. Anissa is the CEO of the Sisterhood. And I happened to go to one of her I'm sorry, not the funerals. I'm sorry, I apologize. Went to one of her family reunions, and her nieces did a song for us. And I had to record that. They did it for Black History Month. And so I want to make sure that I get her nieces in here tonight. Here we go.
My name is Rosa. They say I'm supposed to sit in the back, but I'm tired here, so I'm finna sit right closer. Come get me up then. It's gonna take about 3, 4, 5 men. And I ain't finna repeat myself again. Fight me. Somebody get her. My name is Eve. I didn't believe. I trusted Satan, ate that apple, he deceived. And yeah, I'm naked. I thought I was awakened. I'm the first to do it. Y'all my daughters, we related. Trick on Big Harry. Don't call me slave hoe. The hell? From the underground railroad, bustin' down mouth of dope. When I say run, you better go. In the dark, that Glocky glow.
In the dark, that Glock can glow.
Will glow. My. All right. So thank you so much for being here tonight. That is good enough records. If you have talent, we will expose it. All right. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you. Don't make me laugh. Thank you so much, Jamie. I'll be sending you the links. If you after the show, when I do the outro, you'll be able to see all the shows that we have on the network. Come over and lend your ear and your perspective. And I'll send you some links if you want to join some of those shows for sure. But we're here every Tuesday doing this show. Monday, you have Arpain. He's doing his show, Mr. Boomer. Wednesday, we have our sports show at 7. Then we have JT, What We Know Wednesdays. And then Thursday, Dr. Nkumbe. Friday, barbershop talk with all the guys. He comes in and gives her knowledge about what the woman's perspective is right before we open the barbershop doors. On Saturday, we have Miss Jenny. And then on Sunday, we have the gray area with Paul and Peter. Mr. Bennett up here at the top.
Paul and
Paul and Peter.
Leave us.
Leave us. My pretty, my precious. All right. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I love everybody. Have a good day at work tomorrow. All right. If you can't have a good day at work tomorrow, don't miss nobody else's day up.
Stay home.
Stay your ass at the house. Take heed. In the morning, you going on in the morning? What time, sweetheart?
I'm sorry. My husband walked past me, so I'm looking at him. 9:30 in the morning. Guys,
That's
have a good
9:30
night.
Eastern, right? 9:30
Yes,
Eastern.
9:30 Eastern, yes.
All right. Make sure y'all go and subscribe over there to Take Heed, man, and subscribe to everybody up here. Lost in Translation, JT, Almond Miss Jenny. Jamie, you got your own channel, sweetheart?
Yes, I do. I've got the I Wasn't Taught to Be a Wife podcast on. Oh yeah, I do interviews of Black women that are married, and they talk about how they wasn't taught to be a wife. It's pretty good, actually, to be honest. So
All one word? Is it all one word? Or
it's under Jamie Radiance Moorhead 7. So just look that up. All
Moderation,
one
can we
word.
get that in the chat, please? Y'all
Yeah,
look that up and
I
get it
got
in the
you.
chat.
And you do that on YouTube, or you do that on another?
I do it on YouTube.
Okay. All right. All right.
Now, before
right.
we go, Black man, I got to make sure I get my final thoughts in too. Before we walk up out of here. Yes,
Go ahead, my brother. Have your way.
Yes. First of all, I would like to talk to the church for just a moment. Whenever you in a down and bad situation, whenever you're in your marriage, I just want y'all to know sometimes you got to learn how to work it out.
Yes,
when your man come home and he ain't exactly who you thought he was gonna be, you got to work it out. When your wife talk back to you when you really don't think you deserve it, sometimes you gotta work it out. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes when you and him don't know, sometimes you gotta take it to the Lord and let him work it out. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming out. So once again, Black Man Unfiltered on Flipping Tables with BMU and LIT.
Yes,
once again, you can find me on my channel, Lost in Translation Podcast. Also here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it has truly been a pleasure and always a pleasing pleasure to come out here and enjoy you. So make sure on your way out, you hit the like button and you hit the subscribe button and take the time out to share the channel and this good word. May God bless you and keep you. And good night.
Subscribe now.